In the world of true crime streams and late night takes, lives a chubby baker chasing all his breaks. He fires up the mic every single day, tries to make it better in his own sweet way. The internet's a wild ride, full of twists and turns, but he keeps it rolling every lesson learned. Broken Baker, whoa, the little YouTuber who tries every day. Broken Baker, whoa, keeps on pushing forward, come what may. Good deeds shine on through the noise. Every effort moves him forward. Broken Baker, lighten up the chaos. He's just trying to share the facts and fun, diving into stories from dawn till done. From big cases to community chats, he brings the energy, no holding back. Broken Baker, the little YouTuber who tries every day. Broken Baker, keeps on pushing forward, come what may. Good deeds shine all through the noise. Every effort moves him forward. Broken Baker, keep on baking anyway. He's the Broken Baker, a real content creator, sharing stories from everywhere. Yo, Baker, Broken Baker. Every day he's out there streaming. Broken Baker. True crime tales and hot takes beaming. Good deeds shine on through the noise. Every effort moves him forward. Broken Baker, he's the one.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whoever you are. Blah, 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 blah. Welcome back to the afternoon part of the Mario Fernandez Saldana case, day 5, where most of the day has been let's look at data. I haven't been able to find out what the outcome was of the hearing. They didn't show the hearing during the lunch break. So I'll be trying to snoop around and see if I can find out if they held her in contempt or they agreed to turn over the victim's wife's phone. Apparently, she didn't want to turn it over, and the defense of Jana Gardner claims that she had extensive communication with other witnesses in the trial before the trial started, which could potentially be a little bit of a problem for those if those witnesses have changed any statements or stuff like that. For those of you who are new, this case is called the Microsoft Exec trial. A Microsoft executive had been out on date night with his twins and dropped them off at his mom's house. That was a thing when they had alternating weeks. If they were with mom, dad would have one day where he would be having date night. And if they were with dad, mom would have one date night. But after dropping them off, he's driving down a pretty secluded, dark road. A tire is in front of him. He stops, get out of the car, and a guy they believe is Tenon pulls out a 10 mil and pew-pews him. He has his 2-year-old daughter in the car. Several of the projectiles enters the car. They have previously been charged with child endangerment as well, but they've removed those charges, probably just to streamline the case, because if they get him for conspiracy for murder, it's still going to be life in prison. But so far, there is no link between Tenon, the alleged shooter, and the victim. They haven't shown any way how he would even know about him being on that road. We saw him circling around in the neighborhood And we saw they were driving about 25 seconds ahead of him in one of the videos. So clearly he knew he was there. But how, why, and when, we don't know. They are trying to say that Mario, because Tenon was living in one of his tenements, that he have hired him to do the hit. But so far, they haven't really said how, other than he had worked for doing some odd jobs at the house, fixing some tree branches and some roofing. He signed over 3 different checks at about between $7,000 and $10,000 in total, and that's, I think, what they're gonna allege is the payment for the pew-pewing. We know that Tenon didn't drive the truck because the truck drove away, and then Tenon walked away after the shooting. So there is another person must have been in the truck. They are trying kind of to imply, because his phone didn't have any signals around that time. So I feel they're kind of trying to imply that it must have been Mario driving him around. But they haven't really gone hard after that. But today has been mostly tech data, cell phone maps, and we are now in the middle of Google Google Cloud. Not called Cloud on Google, but your Google account. He had a lot of deleted messages around the time that they were interviewed by the police. That always looks a little sus. But earlier this morning, the judge stopped everything, and they had to go and have an emergency hearing in the lunch break because the victim's wife won't turn over her phone as she's court ordered to do, allegedly because she have had a lot of contacts with other witnesses in the case. So, Shana Gardner, the wife of the defendant and the ex-wife of the victim, was trying to get her for contempt of court because she didn't follow a court order. So it's been a little bit of an interesting day, but it's also been a day full of a lot of data when nothing happens. Burns Store Krista gifted 5 memberships to Sister Lynn, Iris Hayes Inri, I think it is, Simply Rin, Ashley Oaks, and Kendall. Welcome. And I will try and do a members only over the weekend if I can find something to talk about. Right now, there's a lot of kerfuffling going on these YouTube streets. So I'll see if we can find something not kerfuffle to talk about, because there's too much kerfuffle in the world already. But thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships that can now join us on whenever I find something to talk about. Hey, Sebastian, good to see you. Hey, lady, thank you so much. Not that I'm planning a red one, but in case I ever do, I should clear my history more often. We never ever clear our history. That's why it looks so suspicious, just like Jen McCabe. Funny how she only deleted certain messages. That makes it look weird. But let's get back into it. We are a little bit behind. They have been back for around 30 minutes or something like that, but we'll catch up.
Answer out loud. Yes. All right, thank you. Mr. Hill, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Ms. Butler.
Good afternoon.
My name is James Hill. I didn't get to meet you during your deposition. It's nice to meet you this afternoon.
Nice to meet you as well.
My understanding, you're now in the private sector. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
In this particular case, you specialize, I believe that it was IRS.
Yes, that's the abbreviation for my position.
And that was your primary and only duty in this case?
Yes.
You reviewed thousands of records, countless hours working, in essence, to help the investigative team try to narrow down to specific suspects. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And in that in particular, with regards to Mario Fernandez, is it your understanding that he was in essence a person of interest almost starting on day 1?
I can't classify what law enforcement classified him as, but I was told about Mr. Fernandez on February 17th. Yes, sir.
So immediately after the homicide, you began to at least research into him.
Yes, sir.
This also included Shanna Gardner,
Yes.
John Biggerstaff,
I didn't begin to research into Mr. Biggerstaff immediately, no.
but ultimately John Biggerstaff and Henry Tenon, correct?
Correct.
among other people.
Yes.
I know that the state presented a photograph to you of Mr. Fernandez and Ms. Gardner. That was located on a blog by Ms. Gardner's mother.
The blog is run by Ms. Gardner's mother, yes.
Did you also do investigation into Shelley and Sterling Gardner?
I wouldn't say that I did an investigation into them. I became familiar with them through the course of my investigation.
Was it only the blog that you were investigating?
I believe I might have done some social media searches, but as far as documentation, the blog.
And I'm kind of going out of order, but you would agree nothing in the blog where you pulled that photograph provided any further relevant information regarding Mario Fernandez and the homicide of Jared Bridegan. You would agree with that?
I would agree with that.
That was just a photograph of husband and wife together that was posted on Mr. Fernandez's mother-in-law's blog.
Right. The purpose was to understand the activities before and after the homicide.
And you were able to learn through that research somewhat about the Gardner family and their finances. Is that correct?
Yes.
Specifically, Sterling and Shelley Gardner, that they're wealthy individuals.
Yes.
Would you agree that primarily through your research, the finances that Mr. Fernandez had were primarily tied to his marriage to Shanna Gardner?
I didn't do enough financial research into Mr. Fernandez to be able to answer that definitively.
Were you able to determine he earned an income from his rental properties?
I don't recall looking into that specifically now.
Now I want to draw your attention back to the actual night of the homicide, February 16th. You provided some testimony that you made a determination that his phone was not communicating with the network during certain times.
Correct. There were no cellular transactions during certain times.
And that was information that ultimately was utilized by Agent Blythe?
It wasn't utilized by Agent Blythe. I discussed it with Agent Blythe.
But you're not an expert in that particular area, correct?
I am not, no.
So you're not able to draw any type of opinion from an expert standpoint as to what the lack of records or the presence of records actually means.
Correct. I conducted preliminary analysis to provide investigative leads.
And there's no dispute that there was also network data gaps at other points in that same evening.
That's correct.
My understanding is that that could be for several different reasons. A person could have their cell phone powered off would be one reason.
Yes, sir.
Their phone could be placed in airplane mode,
Yes,
and for other reasons.
that's correct.
And that could be pretty broad. You would agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Some of that entirely out of the control of the person that actually possesses the device.
I would say that's fair.
For instance, T-Mobile, as it applies to Mr. Fernandez, whatever T-Mobile may be doing from a network standpoint would be outside of the control of someone with a T-Mobile device.
That's correct.
So if there's no timing advance records for a particular time period, and it's not because the phone is off or in airplane mode, that would be outside of the control of the user. Would you agree with that?
It could be.
And you're not able to testify specifically as to that first gap, as to whether or not it's off, airplane mode, or other. Would you agree with that?
That's correct.
And I believe you were also asked about some other gaps that were later that evening. Would you be surprised to know that law enforcement has testified in this trial that they made contact with Mr. Fernandez and Ms. Gardner during one of those timing advance gaps?
I would not be surprised. I know that law enforcement did make contact with them.
And further, that they made no observations of Mr. Fernandez fumbling with his phone, turning it off, turning it on, or otherwise.
Sure.
Would you agree that that could be evidence that in fact there is a networking issue, at least during the time period where law enforcement is watching and seeing him during one of those timing advance gaps?
I would say based on my understanding, it's possible, but I can't say one way or another.
So with any of the gaps the state has elicited and that I brought up, you're not able to actually offer any testimony as to what the actual reason for that timing gap is.
No, I'm not.
And certainly you can't say that any of those timing gaps specifically implicate Mr. Fernandez in the homicide of Jared Bridegan.
I can only say that there are gaps.
Only say that there are gaps.
Yes.
As to why there's gaps, you cannot say.
Correct.
Now, my understanding, you did further analysis 30 days prior to the homicide, the day of, and 30 days post-homicide. For a total of 61 days, you looked to compare to see if there were other gaps in network connectivity. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the specific gap that was referenced was 1910 to 2019, which is what people refer to as military time, but that would be 7:10 p.m. to 8:19 p.m. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And that's the time gap that the state had referenced that they believe is that Mr. Fernandez had his phone off during the homicide. Whether that's true, you're not able to testify that, but that is the time period in which you researched. Is that correct?
That's the gap around the time of the homicide.
Yes, ma'am. And as you just mentioned, you did somewhat of a historical analysis for pre-homicide and post-homicide for that exact same time period, correct?
Yes, I did.
And because that particular time period is significant, you wanted to see if that ever occurred at any other time before the homicide or after. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And it's accurate that you did find other occasions that took place.
I did.
You found approximately 4 of those, correct?
I did.
And just so the jury understands, I would imagine every single one of them has a cell phone. In order for someone to power their phone down, depending if it's an Apple or Android, they press or hold down a button, the phone shuts down. Fair enough?
More or less, yes.
Same way with starting it back up, correct?
Yes.
You would agree, though, for someone to have 4 identical gaps, they would have to be able to shut their phone down at precisely the exact time. You would agree with that?
Based on my recollection of the analysis, the gaps weren't identical. My analysis was just about were there transactions during that time frame on other days.
And you found 4 exact duplicate transaction periods in that 30 days before and 30 days after for the time period you were researching.
It did not reflect that the cell phone stopped communicating with the network or the gap started at the same time on all 4 of those days. No, it did not.
There was a lack of transactions.
Correct.
Which again, you relate back to saying that if there's a lack of transactions, it means that it is not communicating with the network. Is that my understanding?
That is one possible reason, yes.
But there's multiple possible reasons as you testify.
Yes.
The cell phone could be off is one,
Yes.
which is what the state has tried to elicit from you, that they believe the cell phone was off, correct?
I was not asked that by the state.
But that's what's being presented to this jury. But your testimony is very clear. You cannot make that determination at all.
No, I cannot.
And you found 4 other occasions with 0 transactions during the same time period you researched for that 61-day time period.
That's correct. When I did my preliminary analysis, that's what I found.
But you did not research any other time periods in that 61-day time period to see if there were other network gaps, did you?
No, I did not. I focused on the time period surrounding the homicide.
And that cell phone information has been provided in evidence, so the jury will be able to review it. But would you be surprised to know that there were other network gaps throughout that same evening?
I do know that there were additional gaps, as we're calling it, throughout that evening.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. We need a question now.
Other than me telling you this afternoon, did you know that law enforcement spoke to Mr. Fernandez during one of those particular network gaps? I may not be using the right terminology, but a gap in transactions.
I knew that law enforcement spoke to him that night. I don't recall ever putting the 2 together that it was during one of the lack of transactions.
And is that because you were more of a, and I don't want to diminish your role, but you were more of a data analyst as opposed to a law enforcement investigator?
That's correct. I was an analyst and I did preliminary analysis.
And with regards to Mr. Biggerstaff, I understand you did a similar analysis on his device.
I did.
And are you aware that there has been testimony that Mr. Biggerstaff was present at a location far away from Jacksonville Beach during the same time period?
Yes.
And he actually operates at the time an AT&T device, is that your understanding?
Yes.
Could that be for the same reasons as a T-Mobile device as far as off, airplane mode, or other?
Based on my understanding, yes.
And certainly you wouldn't be able to offer any testimony as to which of those particular options it would have been to cause that lack of network transaction.
That's correct.
Is your understanding Mr. Biggerstaff's gap actually encompassed from 4:25 p.m. till 10 p.m. that evening?
I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it was longer than Mr. Fernandez's gap.
And it was different.
Yes.
You don't have any evidence that there was any direct communication that said, turn your cell phone off in a particular time period?
I'm not aware of any evidence to that nature, no.
In fact, you don't have any evidence at all that you've reviewed from your data analysis of Mr. Fernandez trying to communicate with other people to coordinate powering down phones, putting them in airplane mode or other?
I just have records of communications. I'm not aware of what the contents of those communications were.
And specifically with Mr. Biggerstaff, you did a similar analysis 30 days before and 30 days after, is that correct?
Yes,
And in his particular device, you found approximately 10 occasions with a similar type of activity or lack of activity.
that's correct.
And since you've been involved in this case since, in essence, day one, you would agree with that?
Yes,
And when there's major breaks in the case, you're made aware of those, correct?
yes,
You're aware that the truck was found.
yes,
You're aware that Henry Tennant was arrested.
yes,
You were made aware that Mario Fernandez was arrested,
yes,
as well as Shanna Gardner.
yes,
You've not been told that John Biggerstaff has ever been arrested, correct?
Correct.
Juan Biggerstaff never been arrested.
Correct.
Now, the state also asked you with regards to some of your financial analysis. The day of the homicide occurred on February 16th. No dispute about that, correct?
Correct.
You found no evidence that Mr. Fernandez paid Henry Tenen any money related to this homicide or otherwise prior to February 16th, correct?
That's correct.
And you looked for that.
I did review Mr. Fernandez's financials. I can't speak to exactly the start date and the end date.
But certainly if you had found something to evidence a payment prior to the homicide, we would expect to hear that today.
Yes.
We would expect there would likely be a picture of a check or cash or otherwise that you would be testifying to on direct examination.
Not sure what the evidence would have been, but I likely would have been testifying to it if I found
We
it.
can agree none of that testimony was elicited to you earlier this morning.
That's correct.
Now, you did testify that there were 3 checks that you did find.
I did not testify about checks.
Have you identified those in your financial analysis?
I have seen the scans of the checks. I was not the one that identified them initially, no.
When you reviewed the financials, did you come across them at all?
I remember seeing the checks in the financials, but I was not the one that initially located them.
No dispute that those were after the homicide.
That's correct.
And that was approximately March and then April of 2022. Is that correct?
Late March, early April, yes.
No evidence that there were any payments after that April date.
Not that I'm aware of now.
And certainly you would be the one to likely assist or be the one to find those payments based upon what your role in this investigation was.
I might have. I would say that I would be aware if there were.
Now, this question is going to sound almost common sense, but you would agree a check, which not many people use anymore these days, has the name of the person or the company that's issuing the check.
Correct.
Okay? And someone in a position such as the ATF, the FBI, JSO, or Jack's Beach, they can certainly track down by way of the name of a person or a business to find out who wrote that check.
Yes.
Okay? And what else would be on there is the person's signature that actually signed the check.
Correct.
Wouldn't be hard to find because you have the person's name and their business or their address listed on the check.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, the state has somewhat alleged that this is hiding in plain sight, but it certainly could be the opposite. It could be for legitimate purposes. Would you agree with that?
It could be.
None of those checks, and you've seen copies of those checks, correct?
I have.
They certainly don't say murder of Jared Bridegan on there, do they?
That's correct. They do not.
Okay. They say landscaping for one,
Yes.
tree work for another, or excuse me, landscaping and tree work and then roofing for another.
I'm not sure about the exact wording of the first one. The second one does say roofing.
Okay. And then one said Kickstarter.
Kickstarter, good luck.
Okay. And were you made aware that once the truck was recovered in the search of the Potomac property, they actually found a business plan for Mr. Tenen?
I remember hearing about that. I'm not sure. I don't know that I knew that it was found in the Potomac house.
If I represent to you that law enforcement recovered that, would you take my word for it?
Yes.
No dispute that a handwritten check with a signature and the writing in the memo line with the name of your business is a pretty identifiable instrument.
It's identifiable, yes.
Much easier to trace than cash.
That's correct.
Certainly better than crypto.
That's correct.
All ways that people committing crimes and issuing payments may utilize to avoid having it traced back to them.
Yes, there are a number of ways to accomplish that.
But in this case, the only payments that you found or were found by law enforcement with your knowledge was by way of these 3 checks.
To my knowledge, yes.
And you assisted in the location of the blue F-150?
I did.
And that was by way of your cellular data investigation?
Yes.
And that was specific to Henry Tenen, correct?
We reviewed Henry Tenen's records, different types of records to find the blue truck, yes.
You didn't find any evidence that Mario Fernandez or his devices ever went to that particular location, correct?
Not that I recall, no.
No connection to that location that you're aware of, correct?
Not that I'm aware of now.
And certainly, as you mentioned, you have knowledge of the major breaks in the case.
Yes.
Had there been a connection between the property where the F-150 was found, you would expect you would have known that.
If it was determined, if there was a connection determined to exist, I believe I would have known that, yes.
Going back to that particular property where the F-150 was found,
Yes.
were you able to identify anyone other than Henry Tenen that had a connection to that property?
The individual who was spoken to by law enforcement,
Do you know that person's name?
Jimmy Jones.
Did you ever find any connection between Mario Fernandez and Jimmy Jones?
I did not know.
After those 3 checks, which was March and April, no disagreement that there was no evidence of payments November of 2021 from Mario Fernandez to Henry Tenen.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
None for December of 2021.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Nothing in January of 2022.
Not that I'm aware of.
And nothing in February of 2022 when the homicide occurred.
That's correct.
You would agree you found no evidence, Mr. Tenen, in a text message between him and Mario Fernandez with regards to payments for a homicide.
That's correct.
The state is on not redirect, is the defense has rested, right?
You've never been made aware of a jail phone call from Henry Tenen to anyone complaining that he didn't get paid for this homicide?
No.
No other information related to Henry Tenen getting paid for this homicide other than the allegation that these 3 checks may have had some significance?
I don't have information that I can speak to now that there was these 3 checks were anything other than what they said on the memo line, but I can't speak one way or the other.
Certainly, you're not convinced, as you see here today, that those checks were for the homicide or for the work that's written in the memo line.
I'm not sure that it's appropriate for me to speculate about that.
You can't draw a conclusion either way.
Not with the information I have.
Understood. Now, you referenced these data deletions.
Yes.
Now, these data deletions, the state brought those up on what has been marked as states 212. Can you tell me if that's displayed on your screen?
Yes.
This is a big spreadsheet, all from what you received back from Google. Is that correct?
What law enforcement received, yes.
Some of these have more data than others, correct?
That's correct.
Now, the state didn't highlight this in their direct examination, but I'm going to start with item number 4. You would agree if you go to the far right, starting at P for number 4, it indicates facebook.com. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds pretty elementary, but you would agree that that appears to be something deleted related to Facebook.
I don't know if you can see this, but this is www.get-a-fuck-tonight.com. This is aroma.com. Maybe he was hiding some stuff from his wife, because these 4 deletions looks like it has something to do with a little bit of documentaries about the female form.
I believe so, based on my understanding of what the records show.
No information that there's ever been anything posted on Facebook by Mario Fernandez as it relates to the homicide of Jared Bridegan.
Not that I'm aware of, but if it was deleted, I wouldn't have been able to review it.
But certainly, law enforcement can get a subpoena to send to Meta to collect data of Facebook posts and stories.
That's correct.
Something that the ATF can do.
That's correct.
JSO could do that.
That's correct.
Jacksonville Beach Police Department.
Yep. Yes.
And certainly we have the FBI involved as well. They could do that too.
Yes.
So if someone thought it was significant that Mario Fernandez deleted things from Facebook, there are mechanisms that law enforcement can employ to go and find out what it was.
That's correct.
Okay. But as you sit here today, you don't even know exactly what that Facebook deletion was.
I do not.
The state just wanted to elicit that there were a lot of deletions on the date that Mr. Fernandez went in for a voluntary interview.
That's
Agree with that?
yes.
What's happening? Oh, sidebar. So he deleted at least 4 of those were porn related. That's a good thing. Clear your porn history now and again, especially if your wife borrows your phone. It'll make some awkward conversations.
And Ms. Butler, we were talking about some of those Google deletions, and I think we were talking about number 4 on the spreadsheet that's in front of you.
Can I request that you expand it so I can see the timestamp? I believe the Google deletions were not on the date that we were talking about, or I'm sorry, the Facebook deletion was not on the date that we were talking about, but I can't see the timestamp.
Can you let him know what column it is?
I'm sorry, column A.
So go up to the top in the middle. Yeah, there you go.
Now, this is a spreadsheet that you produced, correct?
This came from the Google return. I did not create this spreadsheet.
You offered it in testimony this morning, correct?
That I reviewed it and it came from the Google return, yes.
And I understand when you were testifying on direct examination for the state attorney's office,
It's 18/3/2022 or 3/18 as you Yanks say it. All of them are on the same day. The two that's on the different days, corpus group delete, 3-minute timestamps. These two are not for the same date. The rest of them is all 2022/03/18 at the same time-ish. So you're wrong, lady.
you didn't request to see the date of any of these deletions.
We weren't referring to specific rows. It was just more of a general overview of what the spreadsheet contained,
About the number of deletions for that particular day.
not based on this spreadsheet.
It appeared that it was represented by way of your testimony. When it was presented by Ms. Stifler, there was 5,000 some odd deletions on the date of Mr. Fernandez's first voluntary interview.
That's correct.
And this spreadsheet was produced by you in anticipation of your testimony. Is that correct?
Yes, the spreadsheet is not the spreadsheet that details every single deletion made on a specific date.
Are you testifying to this court that you would include deletions that have nothing to do with the deletions that were referenced for the date of Mr. Fernandez's voluntary interview?
In order for me to do a sound analysis, I need to look at all the data. So that's what I did in this case.
I understand that. Can you tell me why you didn't make that same statement to the state attorney's office on their direct examination showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 212?
This spreadsheet, to my recollection of my direct examination, was brought up to show that there were two different spreadsheets. This spreadsheet contains records of bulk deletions of data, and I believe that I stated that the secondary spreadsheet, the spreadsheet titled secondary, contains the line-by-line records of everything that was deleted from the account.
We'll get to that one in just a moment.
Okay.
But since your testimony is you don't know, or if I recall, you're not aware of exactly what was deleted from many of these particular deletions. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Leaving a jury with no information as to what possibly could be deleted. You would agree with that?
I can tell you the Google product that was affected by the deletion.
But you would agree on this particular spreadsheet that is the state's evidence that you testified to this morning, it includes whatever so they can see. Includes items such as Facebook. You would agree with that?
It includes URLs.
Okay.
Yep, yes.
But my question was Facebook.
URLs for Facebook, yes.
URLs for YouTube.
Yes,
You've not found any evidence related to the homicide as it relates to Mario Fernandez and YouTube, correct?
I have not, no.
Never found any searches of how to dispose of a firearm, correct?
I did not, and I wouldn't be able to see them if they'd been deleted.
But the answer is no.
Correct.
And we have iCloud photos.
Yes,
Found no evidence that Mr. Fernandez took any photographs that were related to the homicide of Jared Bridegan, correct?
not to my knowledge.
eRome.com, have no idea what that is.
I do not.
Just because my mother's probably watching this, I'm not going to read out loud what the next item is below that. But you would agree that that particular website doesn't appear to have anything to do with homicide, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
Appears to be several entries for that particular.
Zach, what is Get a F tonight? I know you go to those parts of the internet.
Website.
That's correct.
And you would agree there's numerous entries for Facebook, YouTube, and iCloud photos.
Correct.
And then there's a lot of data that doesn't have what the URL or what exactly was deleted.
That's correct.
So certainly you can't offer any testimony this afternoon or ever, as it stands today, that any of these deletions relate at all to the homicide of Jared Bridegan.
I can testify that the deletions were processed on the same day that Mr. Fernandez had his interview.
You would agree deletions could include Gmail accounts, like emails.
They could, but that's not the case in this incident.
It was Google Chrome.
The upwards of 5,200 records the morning of March 1st were Google Chrome records.
But no idea what those are.
That's correct.
They could be something as simple as websites,
That would be what's contained in Google Chrome records.
just like what we reviewed. Facebook, iCloud, pornographic websites, anything.
They could be, yes.
And by could be, meaning you're not convinced that any of those deletions are actually related to the homicide of Jared Bridegan.
All I can say is that they were processed on the same date of the first interview.
Let's go to the secondary. This is the one that you mentioned that was line itemed.
Yes,
Similar to my previous question, nothing to indicate exactly what was deleted.
just the Google product affected.
Google Chrome.
For what's on the screen right now, yes.
as to what that is, you can never testify it has anything to do with the homicide of Jared Bridegan
I can just say that it's Google Chrome.
and that it happened on a particular date.
Correct.
You made mention in your direct examination that there were some map searches on February 28th for Pittsburgh,
Yes,
and that's a location that Mario Fernandez went to, correct?
to the area of Pittsburgh.
You would agree February 28th is several days prior to that trip.
Correct. The searches were made on the evening that he was notified about the interview.
But you have no information as to whether or not he was already intending on going to Pittsburgh.
I can just speak to what the records reflect, that there were searches that evening.
Sure. The way you presented that testimony was to make a connection that his trip to Pittsburgh had something to do with his interview, but you have no evidence of that, correct?
I can only speak to the dates that the searches were conducted
Sure.
compared to the date that Mr. Fernandez was notified, compared to the date that the interview happened on the following day.
He did the search prior to going on the trip,
That's correct.
okay? And he didn't go to Pittsburgh and avoid going in for his interview, did he?
No, the interview happened before. Yes,
Voluntarily and sat down with law enforcement and gave a lengthy interview.
correct.
He could have, if he had chosen to, declined that interview,
I believe he could have.
right? He wasn't under arrest.
Correct.
It was voluntary.
Correct.
Everybody knows what that word means. It means that he walked in under his own accord and sat down consensually with law enforcement.
That's correct.
But several days prior, he did a search in Pittsburgh.
Yes,
So you have no evidence one way or another has anything to do with the fact that he was going in for an interview.
I can just say that it happened the day before his interview, and the trip ultimately coincided with the CPT interviews of the children.
But again, whether one thing has to do with another, you have no evidence.
I can only speak to the dates.
You can only speculate.
I can speak to the dates.
You testified that he went on his trip north. You guys were able to track him by way of the cell phone data, correct?
That's correct.
Didn't appear that he purchased a burner phone or anything to try to not be tracked. You agree with that?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
He used his debit card or credit card?
I don't recall which card he used, but there were records of his financial transactions, yes.
You mentioned, I believe it states 195. Your Honor, may I approach the evidence?
Yes.
Bear with me one second, please. Can you see that on your screen?
Not yet.
Ah.
I can see it now.
This was a receipt gathered by Walmart? From Walmart?
I believe so, yes. Can you scroll up so I can see the top of it, please? Thank you.
No dispute, this is what Ms. Stifler showed you on your direct examination.
That's correct.
Floss swords,
Yes.
any idea what that is?
I believe it's floss picks to floss your teeth.
Like oral hygiene.
Yes.
That doesn't relate to the homicide of Mario Fernandez, or excuse me, Jared Bridegan, does it?
It's purchase of toiletries.
Sure. A Vino dial, what is that?
I believe it's a Vino Dale, like daily, possibly a moisturizer or soap of some sort.
As you said, toiletries.
Correct.
The next two don't really relate to me, but hair care products,
Yes.
okay? Nothing to do with the homicide. You would agree with that?
It just says hair care.
Exactly. Body wash and some other men's product. And just normal toiletries.
Correct.
Nothing out of the ordinary for somebody that may be going on a trip. Right?
People need supplies. Yes.
Exactly. There's entire aisles at places like Walmart that sell travel containers of various hygiene products.
That's correct.
That's not unusual.
There are those sections in stores. Yes.
Now, Walmart sells a lot of things. No disputing that, right?
Correct.
You don't see anything on this receipt or any other receipt that Mr. Fernandez bought a tent, like to hide out in the woods.
There's no tent on here.
Okay. He didn't buy any type of makeup products or fake mustaches or anything to try to disguise himself.
I can only speak to what's on here.
Right, exactly. But certainly if you had found evidence that Mr. Fernandez was gathering any type of items to go on the run and to hide from law enforcement, we would expect you would testify to that, correct?
Somebody would have testified to it.
Certainly.
Yes.
But all you're able to testify to is this receipt from Walmart that Mr. Fernandez bought hygiene products.
That's correct.
You would agree that that's not going to help this jury in any way decide whether or not Mr. Fernandez is involved in a homicide.
I can't speak to what might help the jury or not help the jury. I'm just speaking to what the receipt says.
No, you were actually implying earlier that it was an unplanned trip because he bought these toiletries. So that was kind of sus. That's what you said when you were questioned by the state. Keep to your story and say, well, it looks a little sus that he needed to buy toiletries. You don't know if you didn't have toiletries for travel. I bought underwear when I was in America. Does that make me guilty of something other than I like that type of underwear? I bought Tums because we don't get flavored Tums in Denmark. And clearly I've had some stomach issues. So does that mean anything? It's this little, I don't like it when they have, oh, this implies. You don't know shit. It meant that he was going on a business trip and he needed some toiletries. That's what it meant. But you wanted it to look like, oh, he's planning something nefarious.
And on this particular receipt, it does say credit card approved. Were you able to determine that that was Mr. Fernandez's credit card?
I believe it did ultimately match the financials we had available for Mr. Fernandez, yes.
So again, there was no effort by way of financials for him to try to mask where he was going and what he was paying for.
He used a credit card, yes.
You also found evidence of him having dinner at Ruby Tuesdays?
I believe the Jacksonville Beach Police Department found those records.
I eat healthier. You should see my my dinner tonight. You would be proud of me. It was mostly cabbage.
Again, Ruby Tuesdays, you know what that is, right?
Yes,
Well-known little restaurant,
Yes.
nationwide chain.
yes,
Okay. Law enforcement was able to determine that's where Mr. Fernandez went and had dinner with a friend.
yes.
McDonald's.
I'm not aware of a McDonald's
Wouldn't
purchase.
surprise you though, would it?
It's food,
Things people might do on a road trip.
correct,
Go through a drive-through and pick up a Big Mac or something.
correct.
You made mention of the hotel in Pennsylvania.
Yes,
Did he book 2 nights but only stayed for 1?
correct.
What time, from your own experience, is the normal checkout time at hotels?
Approximately 11 a.m.
Do you know what time, based upon the cell phone records, Mr. Fernandez actually left the Pittsburgh area?
I believe it was later that evening.
So if you wanted to extend your stay, you weren't ready to leave yet, you might have to purchase a second night.
The 2 nights were booked at the same time.
Sure. But if he decided, I'm going to leave later in the evening, I'm not actually going to stay the night, in order for him to stay in the room past that 11 a.m. checkout time, he would have to have it booked for 2 nights. You would agree with that?
I can't say that he would have had to have it booked. I can say that he had 2 nights booked and he ultimately only stayed for 1.
He stayed for 1.5 days.
I can't speak to exactly when his cell site data shows that he left the hotel.
But you understand he left later that evening from the Pittsburgh area.
From the Pittsburgh area, yes.
You can't tell this jury that he didn't stay in the room later throughout the day and decided to leave that evening.
I cannot right now based on my preliminary analysis that I did.
Certainly can't say whether he decided to leave earlier or later has anything to do with the homicide of Jared Bridegan.
I, again, can only speak to the dates that it occurred.
Exactly. You understood at the time Mr. Fernandez had access to a lot of money.
I think that's fair to say.
So it wasn't going to break the bank, so to speak, if he were to book a second night and not end up staying the entire night.
He had financial resources.
Again, it wasn't going to put him out on the street by having a second night that he didn't stay for.
That's correct.
Now, state mentioned Mr. Biggerstaff,
Yes,
and that Mr. Fernandez had gone to Mr. Biggerstaff's on February 15th as well as January 25th.
yes,
On January 25th, you have no idea why Mr. Fernandez was at John Biggerstaff's. You would agree with that?
yes.
And you do know that they've had a long-term relationship for decades.
I can't speak to the length, but I do know that they've been familiar with each other for an extended period of time.
Did you know that Mr. Fernandez went to high school with John Biggerstaff's daughter?
Yes,
Did you know that John Biggerstaff and Mario Fernandez would sometimes work out together?
I did not know about workouts.
Did you know that Mr. Biggerstaff would do some handyman work with Mr. Fernandez at his property?
Yes,
So no disputing that they had plenty of legitimate reasons to be together.
that's correct.
So as far as why Mr. Fernandez was there on January 25th, you're not able to say that personally to Mario Fernandez it had any relation to the murder of Jared Bridegan.
I can say that Mr. Fernandez was in the area of Mr. Biggerstaff's house, and then approximately 3 hours and 45 minutes, Mr. Biggerstaff searched for the 10mm Glock pistol.
Sorry, who searched for it?
Mr. Biggerstaff's account.
Mario Fernandez was not there at that time, correct?
That's correct.
His device, which we heard from Agent Blythe, generally is within arm's reach of the person that owns that device. Any dispute of that?
I can't speak to where individual people have their devices, but
Sure. But no disputing, based upon your analysis, Mario Fernandez was not present with John Biggerstaff whenever whomever was searching for a 10 millimeter.
That's correct.
And you understood that John Biggerstaff was a convicted felon.
Yes.
And some of the searches you pulled up included places you could purchase a firearm, correct?
A website, yes.
Any evidence that a firearm was purchased from any of those websites?
Not that I'm aware of now.
And you would agree, if you go on Google, you type in any type of item, sometimes in the search results, it brings up places where you can purchase those items that you searched.
Yes.
So for instance, if I were to Google right now on my cell phone, Glock 40 Gen 4, 10 millimeter, some of those return results might be places I can purchase that firearm.
That's correct. In the case of Mr. Bickerstaff's account, there was indication that he visited the website.
Sure. But there's no indication that he purchased anything.
Correct.
Whether he wanted to go in and look at a firearm he used to own because he had an affinity for firearms, you're not able to testify one way or another.
I believe it was a different firearm than the one that he owned, but you're right, I can't.
You work for ATF. Are you aware that there's three different models of a 10 millimeter?
Of the Glock 10 millimeter?
Sure.
I'm not, but I believe you when you say that.
So whether or not he's clicking on the exact one he owned or a newer generation, you're not able to testify to that.
I can testify that the one that he owned, based on my recollection, was a 10 millimeter Glock 40 Gen 4, and the one that he clicked on was a 10 millimeter Glock 20 Gen 4.
Okay. So now we have two different Glock 10 millimeters
Mhm.
that have now been brought up in this case. You understand that?
One that was owned by Mr. Bickerstaff.
Sure. And what your testimony is that he actually clicked on a different model of that 10 millimeter.
Yes,
And again, no evidence that anything was purchased.
that's correct.
Are you aware that the allegation that it was a Glock 10 millimeter 40 that was used in this homicide?
I'm aware.
So you would agree a Glock of a different model is unrelated to this homicide?
I will say that the search did not specify which was which.
But you just testified that tell us again, which Glock did he click on?
He clicked on the D20, you're right,
Okay. And it's alleged that it is a 40 Gen 4.
correct.
Okay. You would agree those are two different models.
Those are
of
two
the
different
same
models.
Caliber.
Yes,
And you would agree.
You can say what you want. Still, it's hard to not connect them through Mario, but they're doing some reasonable hole punching in the state's case, because they are just assuming everything indicates something, but it's not even the same gun.
The one he clicked on is not what is alleged to be used in this homicide.
that's correct.
Did you review all the searches that Mr. Biggerstaff made, or at least were made on his device?
I can't say that I went line by line through them, no.
You brought up a 9 millimeter
Yes,
Smith & Wesson,
yes,
not used in this homicide, correct?
not to my knowledge.
Would it surprise you that he searched various military bases in South Carolina?
I don't recall that in his search history.
Do you recall searching for a resort in South Carolina and a particular band that plays there?
I don't recall those searches.
You recall handmade flour tortillas being a search that Mr. Biggerstaff made?
I do not recall that, no.
Would you agree in your own experience? People Google all sorts of things.
Yes, I would agree.
May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Exhibit 2, bringing up the trial exhibit from the state, I believe it's Exhibit 214, which is the CDR call logs of Mr. Fernandez. There's one in particular that the state highlighted in purple. You see that on your screen?
Yes,
And who did you determine that that was a call to, or at least to the device that was possessed by a certain person?
that was the phone number that was used by Janie Deal.
And that was Mr. Tennant's girlfriend.
At the time, I believe so, yes,
And this was the date of his arrest.
correct.
Did you know that Mr. Tennant had like a black dog?
Yes,
Okay, and that it was actually in the vehicle with him when he was arrested?
yes.
Do you have any evidence as to whether or not Mr. Fernandez was calling to make sure Henry Tennant's girlfriend had his dog?
I didn't listen to the call. I do know that there was a conversation about the dog with somebody else.
Did you ever review any of the poll cameras in this particular case?
I might have looked at them. I don't remember specifics about the poll cameras.
You don't know whether or not there's poll camera video of this Mr. Tennant's dog running around the Potomac property?
I don't recall seeing a video like that.
But as to the significance of that call, it's just that it occurred on the date of Mr. Tennant's arrest to Mr. Tennant's girlfriend.
That's correct, and it was the only one.
Whether it's for a dog or any other reason, you can't testify.
Correct.
Now, Ms. Butler, I was asking you questions about some of the other searches by Mr. Biggerstaff on January 25th. And you didn't recall some of those that I mentioned. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'll approach. Ms. Butler, what I'm showing you is a composite exhibit, Defendant's Exhibit 53. I'm going to give you an opportunity to look at these and see if you can identify them for the jury.
Sure. So the one I'm holding right now appears to be a record of a search for Charleston, South Carolina military base that in UTC time was January 26th of 2022 at 1:51 a.m.
And doing that math, can you tell us what time that would have been in Eastern Standard Time, either with daylight savings or otherwise, whatever would be appropriate?
Sure. It would be January 25th, 2022 at 8:51 p.m.
This would be around the same time period of the other searches you testified to, correct?
Around the same time, I believe the other searches started at 8:15 p.m.
Okay, but within the same hour.
Correct.
Okay. And there's another one I'm going to show you. And if you could do that same somewhat UTC analysis.
Sure. This one is a search for Randy Reap, and the converted time would be January 25th, 2022 at 3:05 p.m.
And these appear to
What's Randy Reed? Zach, is it something from one of your sites?
be similar to the same searches that you recovered as far as the way they look. And the
Yes.
same device that you were referencing.
The same Google account. Yes.
And that was related to Mr. Biggerstaff.
Correct.
You would agree that a search for a Charleston, South Carolina military base doesn't appear to have any relevance to the homicide of Jared Bridegan.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And Randy Reap, a local attorney, no information that has any relation to the homicide.
Sorry, Zach. I always just think that when they say names that it's one of those places you go to.
Jared Bridegan.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Then may I publish to the jury?
Yes.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
There were plenty of. No, Ms. Butler, after reviewing those, you would agree there were plenty of other searches from Mr. Biggerstaff's device that didn't have anything to do with firearms
Yes.
and didn't appear to have any relevance to the homicide of Jared Bridegan.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
You had an opportunity to review the Google searches of Henry Kinnan.
I likely did. I can't recall the details of them.
If you had an opportunity to review some of those searches, would it refresh your recollection?
It might, yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes. You may throw out. Is that something in evidence? Okay. Okay, we'll come back in 15 minutes.
And we're all caught up. Again, I think the defense is doing a good job at poking holes. He was very confident that all of these Google deletions and all of that really showed a picture of something. And now she's kind of like, yeah, he Googled some corn and some military bases. Why do you want to know handmade flour tortillas? Don't you just go to the nearest store and buy them? Is it hard to find tortillas in Florida? I thought that might be pretty easy, but you have to Google it. Maybe it was homemade. Could have been homemade tortillas. I don't know. What do I know about anything? But I think they're doing a pretty well job of trying to say, well, you were so confident that all of this electronic evidence showed something, and now you can't say what it is that you claimed it showed. So again, it's hard to not connect dot A and dot B, because how else does this man find this man and choose to unalive this man and not steal anything from him, not do anything other than just pew him? But so far, other than that's where our logical mind will go to, saying, well, he must have done it because of them, because why else would he have done it? It's not like there's a clear puzzle piece where you can just see, well, he did it. Could it be possible those 3 checks that he gave him was for roofing, was for yard work, and was for a startup? Well, I believe so. At least I have to give him the benefit of the doubt, unless they can prove it. And they don't have the pew. They don't know where now they're trying to claim it was Bickerstaff's pew or something, but he's a convicted felon and didn't have access to that pew. It was, well, maybe he had, because that's later been reported stolen. But again, so far we're at day 5. Do you have a clear picture that he did it based on the evidence, or do you have an indication he must have done it, because why else would this man choose to unalive him? I think my problem right now is I'm stuck in that I'm stuck in this place where, how do I connect the victim and tenant if I don't put in Mario as the only one who is connected to both of them? Again, could it be a random thing? Yeah, but does that align with what we saw in the surveillance videos? He clearly was circling the area to find someone.
Your Honor, if you would like, James Hill, on behalf of Mr. Fernandez, the state and defense had an opportunity to review some additional pieces of evidence, and by stipulation and agreement, we have pre-marked and entered defendants 58, which are Chrome records for Henry Tennant as a composite, 2 pages, and defendants 59, which are Chrome records regarding John Bickerstaff.
Okay. Let's get that, Jared. No objection from the state.
Nefarious. But that's the only thing so far I have. I can't see another way they could, but that's not the burden. The burden is to prove he hired him to unalive this man. And so far, I just don't see them really succeeding in that part of it. In my logical mind, I will keep saying, how else did these 2 guys meet in a black road in Florida in the middle of the evening? But I'm just not sure that it's proven beyond a reasonable doubt so far. But I might be wrong. What do I know? But that's just where I'm standing right now. That it's not that it's not a clear-cut case where you can say, well, clearly this payment aligns with this text message. It's going to be on the 17th or whatever. There's no real so far. There's no real hard evidence linking them, and that's what you have to. Again, you have to prove that to me. if I'm going to find him guilty. And I'm just not there yet, but still, again, buying toiletries and buying an extra night's stay in a hotel out of town. Not like he was buying
Thank
tickets
you.
to
Welcome
Thailand.
back, members of the jury. Everyone may be seated. Mr. Hill, you can continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Butler,
Yes.
I'm going to use the technology this time.
Okay.
I'm going to show you what has been marked by agreement entered.
The state has been poking a lot of, not state, the defense have been poking a lot of holes in the state's digital evidence because it doesn't really show much. It showed that he deleted some corn sites and some Facebook posts, but most of it was, they don't know what it was he deleted, just something in Google Chrome.
As defendants 59, can you see this on the page?
A little blurry.
I will do my best.
Is the autofocus on?
I'll zoom in a little more, otherwise I'm going to do it the old way. Is that better for you?
Yes.
And if you could, read to the jury these additional searches starting at the top from Mr. Biggerstaff.
Starting at the top, it is a visit to a website or a URL that says how to measure your bra size at home, 4 simple steps.
The next search,
Bra size chart dash third love.
and the third search.
How to measure bra size and bra size calculator, Victoria's Secret. I'd just like to clarify, these are Chrome, looks like these are Chrome records and not searches.
Can you tell the difference? Can you explain to the jury what that means?
Sure, so because it said Chrome at the top, based on my understanding, that indicates, that that was a website that was viewed with that URL, whereas the records that we viewed previously had search at the top.
But you would agree, Mr. Biggerstaff has gone to all sorts of different types of websites that certain.
Ladies, how the hell do you measure cup sizes online? What? You can go to a website and it can tell you what size bra you need. Don't you need to go to a store? And is it like when you buy pants that if you buy, no, t-shirts, if you buy Nike, it's one size, even though it's the same size you're buying an Adidas, a Puma, and a Nike shirt, and all of them is XL. They will be 3 different sizes of XL. How the hell do you send a booby pic and say, what's the size of these ones? What? You measure yourself and then go online. Why don't you just go to... You ladies are weird. I just buy a pair of underwear and that's fine. My moobs, they'll be swinging freely all the way to my grave.
They seem to be unrelated to the homicide of Jared Bridegan.
Yes.
I'm going to show you another document. This is Defendants 58, which is a composite of Chrome records from Henry Tenen. Can you see this clearly on the screen?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay. And can you start with the first one up top, including the date?
Sure, the first one says visited Form Swift, create your business plan V2. And the converted date would be March 20th of 2022 at 3:41 p.m.
Okay, and could you read the following 3 for the jury?
Sure. Choose free business plan forms templates, March 20th, 2022 at 3:40 p.m. Choose free business plan forms templates, March 20th, 2022 at 3:40 p.m. And free business plan forms templates, March 20th at 3:39 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. It's your understanding, based upon being involved in this investigation, that Mr. Fernandez provided a check in the memo line that said, Kickstarter, good luck.
Yes.
And that at some point in time, law enforcement recovered a notebook belonging to Henry Tenen that also included a page for business plan.
Yes.
And you would agree that the dates of search or for the sites visited are around the same time period of the checks that Mr. Tenen received from Mr. Fernandez.
Roughly late March.
I believe it was March 28th were 2 checks, and then April 4th for the Kickstarter.
That sounds correct.
You would agree that's within a 2-week period.
Correct.
Ms. Butler, there was discussion of January 29th on your direct examination about Mr. Fernandez being at the Potomac residence,
Yes.
okay, as well as Mr. Tenen being somewhere in the vicinity of the Potomac residence.
Yes.
And Agent Blythe previously testified, so we won't go into the timing events and his analysis, but you would agree you personally have no evidence that puts Mr. Tenen and Mr. Fernandez actually together on that date?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And no evidence that Mr. Fernandez was ever in the blue F-150 as it made its travel south on that particular date with Mr. Tenen?
I apologize. Can I back up?
Sure.
For the previous question, if they were together on that date, I can just say that there are periods of time where their devices were roughly in the same area.
Same area.
Correct.
And you would agree that Agent Blythe, being an expert in CAS data, that he would be more appropriate as to helping the jury determine the proximity of those devices?
Yes.
You can show that on YouTube. YouTube has gotten really liberal lately. You can say swear words within the first 5 minutes, and now you can show your boobies. I have to go check that out.
And with regards to the blue truck release by the media, you saw photographs of that truck of what was released to the media?
Yes, I did.
And at the time, there was an inability to even make out what the tag on that vehicle was, correct?
Correct.
These were not perfect still shots of a vehicle. Would you agree with that?
I can't say that they were perfect or imperfect, but you're correct. There was no tag visible.
And these were snapshots taken from surveillance videos as that vehicle was driving through various areas of Jacksonville Beach.
Yes.
In essence, the public needed to help to try to identify this truck because it wasn't able to be identified just by the photograph by law enforcement.
Maybe not say that's the one that the expert came on. Kristen, that's
Correct.
And your review of the data established that Mario Fernandez and Henry Tenen spoke on average about 30 times per month.
I'd have to do some math. Let's see. I can speak to the number of times per month. I apologize. I'm not sure about the average.
And no disagreement that they had fairly regular communication.
Yes.
Okay. And no dispute that for a time period, Mr. Tenen was a tenant of Mario Fernandez.
Correct.
And your
why should I stop? It's Kristen who's the dirty-minded one. Stop yelling at me.
understanding from being involved in this investigation that Mr. Tenen also did some landscaping and other work for Mr. Fernandez.
Based on the checks, yes.
So certainly if someone is doing work for a person, it wouldn't be unusual for them to have phone calls or text messages between the two.
I would likely expect to see communication between,
I imagine for your testimony today, you were in communication with the state attorney's office.
yes,
Okay? The phone calls or text messages or emails.
yes,
Okay? So it wouldn't be uncommon for people that work together in some capacity to have communication.
correct.
And when the truck was released to the media, there wasn't what we would consider like a flutter of calls between Mr. Tenen and Mr. Fernandez.
I'm not sure what a flutter, but there were the calls that I mentioned in my direct
They
examination.
were actually the day after it was released to the media.
Correct,
It wasn't the same evening that that was released to the media.
correct.
I yelled
Your
at
Honor, may I have one
Evil
moment,
Eyes,
counsel?
Yes.
and she's clearly not a good person.
Thank you. Redirect.
Periods of time. That was for periods of time in which there were both no timing advance and no cellular activity.
No timing advance and no outgoing cellular activity.
Were there any of those time periods include incoming cellular activity?
Yes,
Okay, so that's different than the time period we're talking about on February 16th, because the time period from 7:10 p.m. to 8:20 p.m. was no cellular activity whatsoever, correct?
correct,
Meaning no incoming and no outgoing.
correct.
and no timing advanced.
Correct.
Those other 4 periods you talked about were just no outgoing, but included incoming.
I can't speak to every single date, but I did look at that in my analysis.
So the presence of that time frame with no timing advance, no incoming, and no outgoing is less than 5 out of 60 times in that historical period.
Less than 5 out of 61.
Sustain.
Do you know what percentage that would equate to? 4 out of 60, let's be generous and say one of those times had incoming.
Man, I'm getting put on the spot here. I know that 5 out of 61 days would be 92%, so a little bit less than 92% for 4 out of 60.
92% of the time, his phone was either recording timing advance or using cellular data in that 60-day time period.
During the time frame that I looked at in the 61-day time period, yes.
Mr. Hill asked you a bunch of questions about financial analysis. Based on his background, did Detective Johns kind of take charge of the financial analysis in this case?
Yes, he did.
I feel sorry for you.
The Google Chrome deletions that Mr. Hill was asking you about, you testified earlier that the primary database was bulk deletions. And the chart you made with that spike of 5,000, which database was that from, the primary or the secondary?
The secondary.
And can you explain to the jury what the secondary database deletions indicates to you or what it means based on your conversations with Google and your experience?
So the secondary file is the one that contains the line by line. So it's an accounting of every record that was deleted from the Google account within a certain time frame. And that's the one that has the process date and time, as well as the original event date and time and the Google product affected by the deletion.
What types of Google products did you observe as affected by the deletions in the secondary database?
In the secondary database, there were a number of Google products to include Add, Google Discover, Image Search, YouTube, Gmail, Chrome, Search. There was a number of different products.
And Mr. Hill asked you about connections between a man named Jimmy Jones and Mario Fernandez Saldana. Did you observe any connections between the two of them in any of the records you reviewed in connection with this case?
Nothing in the records that I reviewed.
Did you see any connection between Jimmy Jones and Jared Bridegan in any of the records or phone downloads you looked at in this case?
Nothing that I reviewed.
And you had Mr. Bridegan's toll records and phone downloads as well to review?
Yes.
Did you see any connection between Jared Bridegan and any of the toll records or phone downloads or financial records or other records you reviewed in this case between Jared Bridegan and Henry Tenen?
No, I did not.
There were none.
There were none.
Did you see any records or connections between Jared Bridegan and John Biggerstaff in any of the records you reviewed?
No, I did not.
The only connections between all these individuals were Mr. Fernandez, obviously, based on your prior testimony, had communication with Mr. Biggerstaff and with Mr. Tenen.
Correct.
That phone call to Janie Deal on August 18th, 2022, to your knowledge, was Ms. Deal, when that call was placed, detained by Jacksonville Beach police detectives at the CJIC office for questioning?
Yes.
When Mr. Fernandez called her?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Anything further for the witness?
Just briefly. Ms. Butler, any evidence that Mario Fernandez knew where Janie Gill was at the time he made that phone call?
I don't have any evidence about that.
I have no further questions.
Ms. Stifler, anything further? Okay, thank you, Ms. Butler.
Thank you.
Call your next witness.
Calls Detective David Ostertag, JSO.
Good afternoon.
It will be the truth.
Step, there's a
Good afternoon.
Ostertag, it's spelled O-S-T-E-R-T-A-G.
And Detective, what agency are you employed with?
I'm employed by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
How many years have you been with JSO?
I've been with JSO for 20 years.
And what's your current position at JSO?
I'm a detective in the Digital Forensic Investigations Unit.
And what other positions have you held in your many years with JSO?
I was a patrol officer in what is now District 5, as well as a field training officer.
Can you give the jury a little bit of background into yourself? Tell us about your educational background?
Yes, I have a bachelor's degree from Auburn University in Management Information Systems. I also have a master's degree in criminology from Florida State University. I have approximately a little over 1,500 hours of training in digital forensics, encompassing various aspects, including cell phone forensics, data forensics network, as well as computer forensics.
And as part of your work with the digital forensics unit at JSO, do you perform device extractions?
Yes, I do.
How many would you say you've performed in your career with CFIU or forensics unit?
I would estimate approximately 1,500 or so.
And can you tell the jury the tools and software that you're trained in order to perform these extractions?
I've been trained in various softwares and tools, including those made by the Cellbrite Corporation that is for extraction and analysis of data, as well as the Axiom program, which is also a program for extraction and analysis, and then various computer forensic softwares such as X-Ways and Forensic Toolkit and those types of things.
And are you trained not only in extracting information from various devices, but in interpreting data that you receive from Apple iCloud or Google Cloud or other digital forms of data?
Yes, I have been.
Can you explain to the jury how data is extracted from a device, whether a phone or a computer or otherwise?
So the data is isolated from the network to start with, and that means either putting the phone in airplane mode or examining it in a secure environment in our digital forensics lab. So what happens in the most basic form is the device, whether it's a computer or a cell phone, it's connected to a forensic extraction device of some sort. And that extraction device acts as a go-between between the forensic computer and the device that's being examined. It also prevents any sort of overwriting of data or any writing to the device itself or any changes made to the device. So the forensic extraction device acts as a go-between. It communicates with the cell phone or computer and then transfers the data over to the forensic machine where it's then analyzed.
The data that you extract from a device, do you have to take steps to make it readable to the average person?
Yes.
Can you describe that for the jury?
So the forensic extraction device reads the raw data and it writes the raw data to the forensic computer. On the forensic computer, there's analysis software, and what that does is creates reports. It goes through the raw data, it parses out the data into readable categories such as text messages, cell phone logs, pictures, videos, event logs, and then the data is then readable in a report format.
Can you search for different types of data once you've extracted and parsed that data into a readable format?
Yes, you can.
And if we're talking about specifically a phone extraction, like the ones we have in this case, what types of data are contained in a phone?
There's various types of data. There's user data, which would be cell phone logs, or call logs. And then you have text messages, application messages like Facebook Messenger and Instagram. And then you have pictures and videos and other things that the user can see. But then it also extracts some backend data, which only the phone itself can see. And that would be device events, communication logs, like it counts the types of data that's being transferred and the amounts of data transferred between the network and the cell phone. And then there's operating system data, and that data is typically not parsed out by the Cellbrite software.
If something's not parsed out by Cellbrite software, as a computer forensics detective, are you able to look into the raw data to look for more information?
Yes, I can.
I want to turn your attention to work in this case. Were you asked to review cell phone extractions in Google returns related to 3 individuals, 2 cellular devices for Henry Tenon,
Correct.
1 cell phone extraction for John Biggerstaff,
Correct.
and for the defendant in this case, Mario Fernandez Saldana, 1 device extraction and 2 Google returns?
That's correct.
I have a PowerPoint for ease of use while we talk. We're going to start with Mr. Tenon. We're going to start with the data from his phone, the CoolPad 0513, and I'm showing here photographs. This is State's Exhibit 186. When CFIU receives a cell phone, is this how it comes to you?
Yes, it is.
What steps are taken to ensure that the data on a cell phone is preserved for forensic extraction and analysis when it is seized from an individual?
We take various steps, and that could include putting the phone in airplane mode. We also have a secure environment at the digital forensics unit in order to examine phones off the network.
And is that to ensure that data can't be remotely wiped by somebody or interfered with in any other way?
That's correct.
So in this case, we have states 186. That's a view of that cool pad phone. Did you review the extraction completed and parsed through Cellbrite of this cool pad cell phone purportedly belonging to Henry Tenen?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to ask you a few things about the reports you reviewed.
Oh,
So
Cellbrite's
I'm
gonna be
showing
so
you part
boring.
of states 186. This is an extraction report from that cell phone, and it is
Yes, in
labeled
position.
contacts. Are you able to parse reports showing what contacts exist in a cell phone?
Yes, that's correct.
And in this case, were you asked to pull a report to see whether Mr. Tenen had a contact for a phone number 904-566-2633?
Yes.
And we see here this extraction report, and what does this indicate?
This extraction report indicates there is a contact on the phone stored as the name Mario with the phone numbers 904-566-2633.
And for this particular phone, were you also asked to see if there were any cell phone communications stored on the phone, communications through texting or instant messaging or social media between this phone number and the cool pad itself?
Yes, I was.
Were there any contacts, calls, texts, or interactions between Mario 904-566-2633 and this phone?
There were none.
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to states, still in States Exhibit 186. Were you given a second cell phone purportedly belonging to Henry Tenen, which was an LG phone?
Yes.
And in that phone, was it associated with a phone number ending in 7612?
Yes, it was.
And here we see an extraction report where you asked to look for any communications, text messages, instant messages, otherwise between this cell phone number 7612 and Mario Fernandez 566-2633, no, stored as Mario in this phone.
Yes, I was.
And were you able to find the presence of any messages in this phone?
Yes, I was.
And how many were there?
4.
And here we see one of those messages. First of all, is this the report that you pulled? I split it up into 4 slides, but we're showing 4 messages.
Yes, it is.
The first message, did you convert these from UTC to daylight savings time?
This is standard time, but
Standard
yes.
time, I'm sorry. So that would be UTC -5?
Correct.
So see here, we have one message from from Mario 566-2633.
Correct.
We have one message here heading your way from 566-2633. And the date on this message?
Yes, this one is January 4th, 2022.
And 7:03:47 p.m. That would be the correct time converted from UTC.
That is correct.
On the following slide, we see what appears to be the same chat thread. The owner of the phone, which would be 7612, Mr. Tenen, presumably replying, okay.
Correct.
And then this phone number belonging to Mario 566-2633 saying, I'm here, brother. And this is 7:21 p.m. and 7:50 p.m.
That's
on
correct.
January 4th.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Were there any other messages present in this cell phone between the number for Henry Tenen and Mario Fernandez?
No, there were not.
Only 4.
Correct.
I'm next going to draw your attention to some reports you pulled from a Samsung Galaxy Note 20, the phone number 517-6322, purportedly belonging to John Biggerstaff, and that is States Exhibit 187.
Yes, ma'am.
And here we see, are these photographs taken by CFIU when they receive the evidence?
Yes, that's correct.
In the second slide, we see, what are we seeing in this picture?
This is the SIM card for the device. It acts as a go-between between the phone and the carrier just to identify it as a valid cell phone on their network.
And was a full extraction completed for the evidence we're discussing today?
Yes, there was.
And can you tell the jury what a full extraction means?
A full extraction just means every accessible file on the device is downloaded from the phone and then transferred over to the forensic computer.
So does that mean the reports we're viewing contain what is on the phone and available?
That is correct.
There's nothing lost during that parsing or extraction process with a full extraction.
Correct.
And I'm showing you an extraction report from Mr. Biggerstaff's phone, where you asked to pull the instant messages available on this phone between Mr. Biggerstaff and Mario Fernandez 5662633.
Yes.
And how many messages were available for extraction and parsing?
654 messages.
And I'm showing you the first of these messages. When you reviewed them, first of all, are they time dated and in time order when you're looking at an extraction?
Yes, they are.
And in this case, when was the first available message for review between Mr. Biggerstaff and Mr. Fernandez?
The first one available was May 12th, 2022.
There were no text messages still on the phone prior to May 12th of 2022 between Mr. Biggerstaff and Mr. Fernandez.
No, there were not.
And there are some texts between the two of them. The jury will have some of these reports for review later. And the last, we don't need spell check. The last text available, what was the date on the last text available for extraction and review?
August 22nd, 2022.
So when Mr. Biggerstaff's phone was placed into that extracted, parse the data, we have a date range of May 12th, 2022 through August 22nd, 2022.
That's correct.
No text predating that time period.
None between these two parties.
Okay. I'm going to move along to Mr. Fernandez's Google return, where you ask to parse some data through Axiom and pull reports through Axiom related to a Google return from Mario Fernandez.
Yes, I was.
And that states Exhibit 185. We'll start with this, where you asked to pull a report in relation to records under the keyword search 5239 Potomac Avenue in Mr. Fernandez's Google return.
Yes, I was.
And the jury will have those reports. I just want to go through a few records. And when they're looking at records themselves, can you explain to them what they're reading and how to read it?
So these records, this is a typical email record, and what it shows is who the email is to, who it's from, and then you have the times that they were submitted, which is when the user clicked send, and then delivered is the time that it took to go through the network, and then
Hiring a hitman to unalive his his separated wife's ex-husband. And now we are looking at something between him and Bueller Air that I don't know what has to do with anything. The state really has a hard time connecting. Well, they can connect the hitman and this guy, but there's no indication that he planned any hit with him.
it was received on the other end. And then, of course, you see the subject here, the subject of the email, as well as the body of the email. And then I'll go back to where you see the submitted and delivered dates and times. It says UTC +0. That means that it hasn't been corrected to the current time zone. So during the winter, which this is February 24th, we're still on Eastern Standard Time. You would subtract 5 hours in order to get the submitted and delivered dates and times for those. For daylight time, it would be 4 hours difference. In this case, this email was sent actually on February 23rd, 2022 at 7:11 and 28 seconds p.m.
7:11?
For example.
And some of the
Don't mention that on my channel.
records that you were asked to pull related to invoicing and the exchange of paperwork, invoices, and calendar invites between First Choice Home Rentals and a Bueller Air Conditioning under the keyword search 5239 Potomac Avenue.
Yes, that's correct.
And these show that Mr. Fernandez, or this email address stored in his Google account, was coordinating for some work to be done on the home. And in doing so, they were sending these are notifications,
Correct.
calendar invites, invoices, and acceptance of calendar invites
Yes, that's correct.
and acceptance letters.
Correct.
When you review the records, are you also able to see attachments to emails that are sent?
Yes, I am.
And here in this slide, this is slide 31, is this an example of an attachment that was in the body of those emails that we discussed?
Yes, it is.
And this is showing a service plan where Mr. Fernandez apparently has gotten a service plan with Bueller Air Conditioning to run from September 1st, 2022 to September 1st, 2023.
Yes, that's correct.
I want to ask about some emails you were asked to pull from September of 2022. Can you explain to the jury what this is indicating here? Is this
This is direct, and they have been leading all the time. And but again, this is more about, I don't know what this has to do with anything. Invitation, Mario Fernandez and Brandon Hood on the September, this is sent 09/05/2022. The murder was in 16/02/2022. I don't know what this has to do with anything. It's I have a hard time figuring out what the state is going to do to prove it, other than he's the clear connection between the victim and the gunman. But they still have to show us. They really haven't done it. The defense have actually been pretty good at punching holes in their theory.
invitation for like a calendar invite via email?
Correct. That's an invitation sent from Brandon Hood to First Choice Home Rentals, Mario Fernandez, in reference to a meeting on September 7th at 3:30.
And what is the corrected date and time of this invite or calendar invite?
This was sent at, let's see, September 4th, 2022, subtract 4 hours. I'm sorry, September 5th, 2022, subtract 4 hours, and that would be 6:53 and 18 seconds p.m.
And in review, we were asked to pull some of the records related to an email exchange between First Choice Home Rentals and Brandon Hood at atlasHomebuyers.com. Are these those emails that you pulled?
Yes, they are.
And this is just showing more calendar invites for a seller appointment with Mr. Fernandez.
Correct.
Is this showing another calendar invite with that same atlasHomebuyers.com?
Yes, that's correct.
And what is the corrected date for this?
This would be September 8th, 2022, and subtract 4 hours would be 3:52 and 23 seconds p.m.
And we see here, is this an attachment to one of these emails that includes a DocuSign document?
Yes, it is.
And what is the name of the document that's attached?
The name of the document is pricereduction.pdf.
And then we have an email here from a floridatitle.com.
Correct.
What is the corrected date and time of this email?
September 21st, 2022 at 12:07 p.m.
And we see here just an email talking about a contract to purchase Potomac Avenue for $90,000, hoping to close by October 12th and hoping to close remotely.
That's correct.
And then here is an email discussing some payoff information regarding that sale.
Yes, that's correct.
Lastly, I'm going to ask you about an extraction report that you reviewed for Mario Fernandez's Samsung Galaxy A13. And these reports are in evidence as State's Exhibit 185. And we're looking at an extraction report device events. Can you describe to the jury what this report shows?
So as I sort of mentioned earlier, the device stores certain events, power logs, screen on, screen off, that sort of thing. One of the events that was stored on this phone was a factory reset for this phone.
Can you tell the jury what a factory reset does?
So if factory reset, what happens is all of the files on the phone are locked. Each individual file has their own lock. It's encryption. It has a key in which the lock is opened and the data is decrypted. So during a factory reset, the keys that unlock these files are destroyed by the phone. So it's no longer able to unlock any of these files. And where those files used to reside, it's now marked that those files can now be overwritten by new data. It would be similar to one of these large self-storage warehouses where each locker is each individual file. And then these files have locks. Well, I take all the keys to those locks on a key ring and I throw them in the trash. I throw them in the river, incinerate them, do whatever. Basically, you can't get to any of that data anymore. While that was happening, the manager of the store went and put new locks on everything and decided that other customers could come in and put their new belongings inside these lockers. So where I can't get any of the old stuff back anymore, but all you see is what is currently on the phone and currently in those lockers.
And this device event report indicates that this phone was factory reset and wiped on August 26, 2022.
That's correct.
And everything up until this date, August 26, 2022, following the wipe factory reset, would that be no longer present on the phone?
That's correct.
That includes every photograph on the camera. I'm
Correct.
sorry, every photograph on that phone,
Correct.
every text message on that phone,
Correct.
every Google search on that phone,
Correct.
all social media.
Correct.
He could maybe wanting to turn it in for a new phone and factory resetted it. And then he didn't get a new phone. Where are we going with this?
Any phone logs or phone records,
Correct.
location information that predates this time frame.
That's correct.
If you wanted to keep your phone and use it further, would you have to log back into all of your accounts to get back into using that data?
Yes, you would.
So
Just
in this
use it.
case, did you review Mr. Fernandez's on the
Turn
Samsung
your Google
Galaxy
back on.
A13, the user accounts that were present on this phone when you reviewed it?
Yes, I did.
And here we see in states 185 user accounts, there are 35.
That's correct.
And what type of user accounts does a phone store in this report? Or what kind of data does it reflect in this report? I should say that's a better way to say it.
This shows login information for applications, certain websites, as well as Samsung Cloud, Google, basically any account that resides on the device is stored here.
Facebook Messenger,
Correct.
social media, your Google.
Yes.
Apparently not.
A First Choice Home Rentals Google account,
That's correct.
WhatsApp.
Correct.
What are you trying to prove? He factory reset his phone. You go back in, you put in your Google account. Your Google account will have most likely stored all of the passwords. So you just go into the accounts again and you just hit, yeah, log me back in. Again, maybe his phone was running badly. Maybe he just wanted to get rid of a shit ton of corn. Do you know that all the Messenger photos, because if you just saw it, there was 8 photos in the Messenger app, because Messenger will store them for you. You just go to Facebook and get those if you want to do that. The cloud will also, Google Photos will store them as well. What's she trying to say with all of this?
Photos, Venmo, Gmail, basically any application you have on your phone is going to create a user account in this section of your phone
That's correct.
or in this database.
Yes.
So for Mr. Fernandez to have 35 user accounts present on his phone following that factory reset wipe, what does that mean he had to do?
That means he had to download these applications again from the Google Play Store and then log into those applications, install those applications and then log into them again on this phone.
I'm going to ask you about the chats that were available on this phone when you reviewed the extraction report.
Yes.
Were there any chats between the phone number associated with the phone, Mr. Fernandez, and John Biggerstaff?
Yes.
And how many chats were present on the phone?
There were 71.
And do you recall the date range that was available for your review following that factory reset and wipe?
Yes, it was August 27th through August 31st.
Did you search and see if there were any chats available with the phone number associated to Henry Tenen ending in 7612?
Yes, I did.
Were there any present on this phone?
There were none.
And then Mr. Fernandez's phone extraction, did he have a database still available for review of his contacts?
Yes.
And I'm showing you that report where you asked to pull a report of his contacts.
Yes, it was.
How many contacts were in his phone?
1,097.
And does that include the way we store contacts in our phone as well as social media contacts?
That's correct.
Did you search to see if there was a Henry Tenen, a Henry at Potomac, or a phone number associated to Henry Tenen ending in 7612 within the contacts database in Mr. Fernandez's phone?
Yes, I did do that search.
And was any of those present in his phone?
No, there were not.
You mentioned the device events report can give somebody viewing an extraction report a lot of information about the activity on the phone. Does that, and you mentioned power on, power off. Can you tell the jury what data you would be able to see if you looked in device events report relating to powering up, powering off, airplane mode?
Correct. So you can see any sort of settings change, including airplane mode, turning location services on and off in some cases, as well as plugging your phone in, taking it off a charger, turning the screen on and off, and other various functions that you wouldn't normally care about. But Samsung uses it for analytics, so it stores it on the phone.
Can you even tell if somebody used their password or Face ID to unlock their phone?
Yes, in some cases.
So you could, with some certainty, actually with precise certainty, you could tell if somebody had put their phone in airplane mode or turned their phone off at a specific time and date, if you had that device log.
Correct, yes.
You could tell if somebody was connected to Wi-Fi by looking through data on their phone.
Yes.
You could tell if they turned off location services by looking at their phone.
Yes.
Were you able to get any of that information from Mr. Fernandez's phone?
No, I was not.
And why not?
Because the phone was factory reset on that August date.
May I have a moment with counsel, Your Honor?
Yes,
No further questions.
thank you. Cross-examination. Sure.
What was this all about? He factory resetted his phone and he talked to someone later on. And someone was going to fix his hair. What? I know it's Friday and I know it's late in Denmark and I know I haven't been streaming for a few days, but what am I missing here? What does this
May I proceed,
prove?
Your Honor?
Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon, sir.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
I just have a few questions for you.
Okay.
The state indicated that you found contact in Henry Tenen's phone for Mario Fernandez.
Yes, that's correct.
You do understand that for a period of time, Henry Tenen was a tenant in one of the properties owned by Mario Fernandez.
Yes, that's correct.
So certainly it would be reasonable that a tenant would have the phone number for his landlord as a contact in his cell phone.
Yes, sir.
Nothing necessarily nefarious about that contact.
No, sir.
There were messages from the defendant, Mr. Fernandez, to Henry Tenen on January 4th, I believe was your testimony.
Yes, sir.
But you saw no messages on January 5th, correct?
That's correct.
And if I believe from your testimony, you mentioned there were 644 messages between John Biggerstaff and Mario Fernandez.
Yes, sir. I believe.
Sound about right?
That sounds about right.
You didn't recover or review any messages related to a 10-millimeter firearm, did you?
No, sir.
No messages related to the homicide of Jared Bridegan, did you?
No, sir.
But you did find messages consistent with work that Mr. Biggerstaff was completing with Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you found other personal messages between the two men.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Now, there's mention of this factory reset on August 26th.
Yes, sir.
And when an individual purchases a new cell phone,
Yes, sir.
you're buying a new cell phone, so you're no longer going to use the old cell phone.
Correct.
Your understanding from own personal experience is sometimes the old cell phone is either disposed of or turned over as a trade-in to the provider.
Yes, that's correct.
That's not an uncommon situation.
Correct.
Certainly, if you were going to turn in your cell phone back to T-Mobile in this particular circumstance, you would do a factory reset of your phone so that somebody else would not have access to your data.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's not unreasonable.
Correct.
And certainly that would log you out of all of those different applications, Facebook, Gmail, Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever it may be.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with what IMEI stands for?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell the jury what that is?
The IMEI basically stands for the international, well, it's basically the unique identifier for the phone itself. It's a 15-digit number, and it uniquely identifies a phone on the network.
International Mobile Equipment Identity. Does that
Yes.
sound to be what that stands for?
Yes, sir.
Maybe a simpler way of putting it is it's a digital fingerprint for a particular device,
Digital identifier, yes, sir.
and each device would be different than the other.
Correct.
So if you have one cell phone, it will have an IMEI number, but if you had a different device, because you bought a new phone, it would have a different IMEI identifier.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And that's something that when you do these forensic downloads, that would be contained in those records.
Yes.
So that's going to go back with the jury, and they would be able to see for themselves if on August 26th of 2022, if there are two different IMEI numbers, they would understand that as representing two different devices.
Not necessarily two different devices, because on newer phones, they will have two IMEI numbers assigned to them. There's one for the physical SIM card, which is that chip that we saw in the picture, and then there's an electronic SIM, which is embedded into the phone itself.
But not uncommon for two devices to have two different IMEI numbers.
Correct.
And certainly that could help to provide an explanation as to why there would be a factory reset of one device, is that it could be because a second device was purchased.
It could, yes, sir.
Certainly, if any member of the jury in their own personal experience had taken a device in to get the newer version, or they broke their phone, they may do a factory reset in order to get a new phone.
Correct.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Ostertag, Detective, I'm showing you a document that's contained in States 170, which are the financial records of Mr. Fernandez. Can you see that on your screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
I want to draw your attention to August 26th.
Okay.
Can you read to the jury what you see under those USAA records for August of 2022 on August 26th?
Yes, sir. There's a purchase made at T-Mobile Store 136E in Jacksonville, Florida, in the amount of $70.46.
And that's the same date as the factory reset that you testified to on direct examination. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's too stupid if he bought a phone. Then it's really, really fucking stupid that they didn't know that.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any further questions by the state?
Detective Ostertag, the cell phone extraction was performed on a cell phone seized from the person of Mr. Fernandez in February 2023.
That's correct.
And if he bought another phone, he still continued to use this one because he reactivated all of his user accounts, correct?
That's correct.
And often, I know Mr. Hill asked you about people resetting their phone when they are going to trade it in. When you factory reset your phone to sell it or trade it in, you don't generally retain possession of it and continue to use it, do you?
No, you don't.
Thank you, Detective.
Anything further?
No, he can be excused.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Not subject to recall?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Detective.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let me see the lawyers at sidebar for schedule.
Nope. Now let's end early. It's Friday. Send
Let
the
me
jury
see the
home.
lawyers at sidebar for schedule.
I wouldn't mind if we ended now. I have to be up in 7 hours and do expert show. Fire burner would cast not card from the shop. Exactly. It's just it's so weird. And again, you can have as long as he got a new phone, he could have thought, no, I'm going to reactivate this and use it for work because if I damage it or something like that, again, you have a million billion ways of explaining it. I just don't see that they're painting a clear picture. And maybe it's because I'm so jaded against the state, even though I always told that I was talking the hoo-hoo of the state. But I just don't think they haven't hit any home runs so far, in my opinion, connecting these two people. He has a weird face. And his lawyer should tell him, just let it go because it's getting a little thin up there. You are our commie. What are you talking about? Who's a commie? You've been listening too much to Volstorm. He's just jealous. He wants to be a commie as well. But he does have a weird face. And his suit is way too big for him.
I'm going to ask that you all push through this will be the last witness for today, and that should get you out early if we just push through and not have a mid-afternoon break, okay? All right, if the state will call its next witness.
The state calls Daniel Hausdorff.
Can it be
Daniel
something that's a little
Hausdorff.
more lively than just let's look at more data? Because it's a little boring. It's a Friday. Get
the
some
court order.
margaritas in there and
Okay,
get going.
pause the witness.
Why are you always stocking up to these people? It's always everyone but Baker is such a nice person. Have anyone watched Landman? I started watching it while I was in the hospital. I'd seen some things about it, and then I started watching it. Oh my god, it's a good series. I really like that series. But all this court time is taken away from my binging series time. But I was surprised. And I kept, what's his name? It's not, I keep thinking it's Tommy Lee Jones. It's not Tommy Lee Jones. And I know it's not Tommy Lee Jones. But
Change of plans. So I'm going to give you a break, 10 minutes. We'll come back. So shorter than 15, but 10, okay?
Billy
Leave your
Bob,
notepads on your chair.
Billy Bob Thornton is his name. I just keep, but it's a really good, it's a really good show. I like it, that they, it's pretty rough. I think it's, I have some guys I know who work the oil fields out in the North Sea, and it's a pretty hard job. But apparently those oil rigs in Texas is one of the dangerousest jobs in the world. So I don't know. Standing outside in the North Sea, one of my buddies were out there, and he was the chain man who had to wrap the chain, and something snapped, and it was supposed to give when something went wrong, but something snagged on him, and he was almost ripped out of overboard on the rig, and he got scared after that one. He said that was just, he didn't mind all the other stuff, but that thing where he was almost thrown overboard, you're dead if you're thrown overboard. That was too much for him. Yes, not as good as Yellowstone. Yellowstone was good for the first 3 seasons. The last 2 seasons I don't find super. Great. Angelina Jolie claims Billy Bob basically has 3 legs. Well, good for him. He doesn't show it. Is it as cute as Yellowstone? No, it's a very destructive family they have. It's a lot of bad things going on, a lot of cartel stuff going on and stuff like that. But it's a really good show, and I don't think it goes too overboard with stuff. It's but it's just because you can have whatever opinion you have on the environment and stuff like that, but I think that they are showing it pretty well from oil prospectors' opinion how they see it, and I think that's also a good thing because a lot of they have been maligned, but again, it is what runs our world. So I like that also because especially in Denmark we have a lot of these windmills and they are so energy inefficient when you look at the entire life cycle on it, but it just looks good when politicians can say, oh, we put up 1,000 new windmills. Yeah, you made a shit ton of concrete and stuff out in the nature. And they attack it in a way where you can sit and say, yeah, there's some logic behind it. But also at the same time, it's also clear that it's because they are prospecting oil that of course they have that view on it. I like it. I see Billy Bob sometimes around SA. There's a small French restaurant he really likes. Why do you see him around SA? Team Rip? Oh, Yellowstone, yeah. Yeah, I've been having the same idea, but then when I was in the hospital, because I only have one of my streaming services on my tablet, and I thought I was only going to stay there for a couple of hours. I didn't expect that I was going to stay there for 5 days. So I only had my phone and my tablet with me. So I was watching that because I only had terrestrial TV, and that was really boring. I was watching reruns of the same show every day, and I was like, nope, I need to find something else, and I started watching that. Oh, San Antonio. Well, you never know when it's Zach. Hope you're able to rest. How is your daughter feeling? How's your grandson? Well, I'm not able to rest because I'm sitting here. My daughter's fine. We just had an hour's conversation today when she was going home from work, so that was nice. And the little one, he's been he had some asthma attacks and stuff like that. So, but other than that, I think he's doing fine. He sent me a video of him walking around with he has a little baby pram, and then he walks around with it straight into the wall, of course. But maybe he's getting ready to be a big brother. So that's going to be. I really hope that they push up my operation because she's supposed to deliver in the beginning of November. So I really hope that they're going to operate on me in September or something like that. So I have a month to recover before I have to help carry babies around because I like babies. I need to be ready to do that because it's tough carrying a baby if your stomach is starting to bleed from it. Yeah. So, but no, he's doing fine, I think. My youngest is an early November baby. It's a great time of year. Well, both my kids are September babies, so you know what I got for Christmas. Oh. In 3 weeks, I have a 25-year-old. And I'm 27. How did that happen? I think it was just yesterday I was in the delivery room getting yelled at. Do you have to read the newspaper? Well, nothing's happening. You're just sitting in a bathtub. Why can't I read the paper? It smells. Oh, okay. You have to drink coffee. You know I hate the smell of it. Well, I've been up since yesterday because you have been waking me up every hour since we went to bed, complaining that your stomach hurt and you didn't want to go to the hospital. Sometimes you women get a little needy when you're in labor. Not a lot of consideration of us men. It's not a complaint. It's just an observation. Bye 86% of my viewers. The good thing about November babies is, well, late October, early November, there's still enough time before Christmas, so it's special that it's a birthday. I had a friend of mine, he has a birthday on the 24th of December. He hated his birthday. Thank you. Finally, you understand something about men. But that's to say, my birthday is 4 weeks after Christmas. It's kind of, we just got through all of that hullabaloo. Now it's your birthday. That's not special. So that's weird. The same, I have a friend who had a birthday on New Year's Eve. That's a weird birthday to have as well. Because who wants to go and have chocolate and cake and then go out and get drunk and blow off your hands? Oh, tomorrow is Pretty Cookie's birthday. Oh, no, we can't say that because that's bad luck if we say it before it's your birthday. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow, so I'm not sure you're going to get a song. My mother-in-law reeked like cigarette smoke when she came to the hospital. When you're in labor, you smell everything. I wasn't allowed to go out and smoke. Really annoying. You understand a ton about men. I'm married to one, and I made 2 more. Well, I was married to a woman, and I have made 2 women. Don't think anyone will blame me of understanding women. My sister-in-law walked by a grill and made a face over the smell. I knew she was pregnant immediately. Yeah, my daughter was really good at hiding it because we were at a birthday party at my nephew's, my niece, and we were together all day. She was driving with me and all of that, and then she called me 3 days later or something like that. I called her an asshole for not telling me, but she wanted to wait for that. It's a 12-week cut off the first trimester. I don't know if you have the same in America, but in Denmark, you normally don't tell anyone the first trimester because it's where stuff can go bad. So that's where you keep it secret. So that's a little, yeah. I loved having an August birthday. It was in the summer when there wasn't any holidays. Well, I bet your mom hated being pregnant and giving birth in August. Because that's, again, I had September babies, and my ex-wife, she really didn't like being pregnant in July and August. Well, I'll have to find something to stream about then, and then you have to remind me. I understand catfish more than women. Well, I've eaten catfish twice and been catfished once. My ex-husband was telling me to stop laughing and take it serious during my delivery. Yeah, you should. You should destroy his hand or yell at him. Do all the things we expect. The family use laughter when stressed. I just eat when I'm stressed. So differently. So differently. Well, I said I have to find something to stream about. I didn't say I was going to stream. We'll have to see. I also promised the members only. There's a lot of shit going on right now. I don't know if I have to get into any of that. I got shipped to hospital. Just kidding. I just got you. Okay. Well, hospitals like my cousin called me yesterday, and she was like, "How you feeling?" and stuff like that. I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm not 100%, and I'm still not. I can clearly feel that it's not good. Well, it's not bad either, but it's not good. And she was like, "Well, you're not going to be a hero." And said, "No, 6 months ago, I would have just said, well, F it, I don't want to react to any of this." But after what I thought was just a big acid reflux, and I thought, Jesus, I'm going to die. I really thought that it was a heart attack. I went to the gym just in case if I keeled over, someone was there that could call 911. I was like, am I having an acid reflux or is this a heart attack? Well, let me just go to the gym, try stretching, and ate a couple of Tums, and then went over there just in case something happened. And then I had the night where before I went to the hospital, like I said, I'm not going to play a hero if it comes back. I'm going to call for an ambulance instantly and say, you need to come get me, because that night was probably one of the worst I've had in my life. And I have herniated disc. Trust me, that's not funny running around with those, especially when it's pressuring on your nerve stems. But when you get in so much pain, you just start puking constantly. That's not a fun night. And I still wrote the night through, and then I went to the doctor the next day and didn't get admitted to hospital till like 6 hours later or something like that. And that's when my infection number went from 7 to 365 in 7 hours. As my doctor said, I've never seen anyone spike that much in such a short time. And I was like, well, at least I'm good at something. My dad died of a heart attack. He didn't realize his persistent acid reflux was many heart attacks. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, well, that was because I've always had I had beginning ulcers when I was an apprentice, because it was a very hard environment to work in. We didn't have the best boss and stuff like that. So I've always had those acid attacks, and it just feels like someone is driving a spike through your chest. But this one was just differently. It was the one where it just feels like it keeps squishing. And that's why I was like, oh, fuck, am I dying? My dad died of a heart attack as well. So
Just prior to the jury coming in, as we mentioned, there were some additional materials we received earlier this week, and by agreement of the parties, we will have a one-page AFTE General Rifling Characteristics database document marked as Defense 60. It'll be
No
relevant.
objection. Okay. It'll be so honored. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay, let's bring in the jury. It's freezing in here, isn't it? I'm finally freezing. I'm finally cold, Melanie. They did it. I'm like shaking.
Well, I'm alive. Yeah, but that's why I'm not going to play a hero. I've been to the doctor way more the last month than I have in probably the last 10 years. Hey, Haley.
I'm like, they finally did it. I'm cold. Maybe.
Your Honor, the accused are entering the courtroom.
Thank you.
It's not cookies. It's Inbesnitter. It's short crust dough, raspberry jam, short crust dough, glazing, and some freeze-dried raspberries on top.
Welcome back in, members of the jury. Everyone may be seated. Mr. Mizrahi, call the next witness, please.
Daniel Hosdorf.
Daniel Hosdorf.
Yes, it's kind of like a Pop-Tart, just not made with a ton of artificial stuff.
Good
So,
afternoon.
if you want a cup of coffee and something nice, that's a super easy cake to make.
Will you please
And,
raise your right hand to be sworn in?
they're good with
Sir,
coffee.
do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Right this way, please. Watch your step.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You may proceed.
Please the court. Please introduce yourself to the jury.
My name is Daniel Hausdorff. My last name is spelled Hausdorf.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I am a crime laboratory analyst in the firearms section at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
How long have you been so employed?
About 13 years.
Explain to the jury briefly about your educational background and training experience that allows you to perform those duties.
Yes, sir. I have a bachelor's degree in biomedical science from the University of South Florida. I was hired at FDLE as a forensic technologist in the firearms section, and I completed this.
Technically, you can make it any size you want. The problem is just a short crossbow. If you make it 50 centimeters, that's like this. Yeah, probably like this. It'll be very flaky. Normally, we'll make them in this wide and then roughly this long, but then you just cut them out in pieces this wide.
6-month training program for that position, and then was an FT for about 3.5 years. I was then promoted to analyst and completed the training program in August of 2018, and I've been an analyst since.
And has that educational background and training experience allowed you to come into courts and give your opinion as to your expertise in your field?
Yes, sir.
At this time, I would tell you the witness for voir dire is an expert in firearms identification.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
So let's give the jury a little bit of an education of what you kind of do every single day about firearms and how you're able to compare components of a cartridge to each other and then to potentially guns.
Oh,
So a basic day of what I do is I compare cartridge cases and bullets microscopically to determine if they were or were not fired from a particular firearm. I also perform firearm function testing, serial number restoration, and imaging cartridge cases into our database. The way that I would compare bullets or cartridge cases to each other is I would use my comparison microscope. It's 2 microscopes joined by an optical bridge that allows me to view 2 objects at the same time under the same magnification. So what I'm doing is I'm putting one cartridge case on one side, another cartridge case on the other side. I'm comparing those 2, overlaying those images on top of each other, and I'm looking for a repeating pattern that's coming from the firearm during the firing process. I use the exact same procedure for looking at bullets. If they have the same pattern, I would determine they were fired from the same firearm. If they don't, that's when I can eliminate from the same gun.
Explain to the jury how a firearm manufactured by the same firearms manufacturer at the same period of time, can those individual firearms be distinguished from each other?
So when a firearm is being manufactured, the way that those unique characteristics are imparted to the firearm during the manufacturing process. If you think about the barrel itself, it's going to have to be drilled, it's going to have to be reamed, it's going to have to be rifled. All of those tools are creating an immense amount of pressure within the barrel, and they're forming what's called chip formations as it's removing or displacing the metal. Those chip formations are creating unique microscopic imperfections within the barrel and various other parts of the firearm itself. And those unique surface imperfections are being imparted to the bullet or the cartridge case during the firing process. The barrel or other various parts of the firearm are harder than the metals used for cartridge cases and bullets. So those unique imperfections or scratches are going to be transferred over to those components. And I'm looking at those on the scope to determine if they have the same pattern as test fires that I would create or multiple pieces of evidence that I would compare to each other.
So is this scientifically accepted?
you will either have to wait for it to time out or until you get signal again, and then you can reopen it.
Community?
Yes, it
You
is.
can make these kind of comparisons?
Yes, sir.
For how long has various laboratories been doing this kind of work?
Over 100 years.
Is it replicatable or replicable? In other words, other labs could do the same work and go behind you and compare what you've done.
Yes, sir.
So let's turn directly to your work in, you have your file up there with you?
Yes, sir.
FDLE number 2026-1946. You've reviewed that.
Yeah, 2026-040-1946. Yes.
040s, just to go to the, okay.
Did he just say?
You did not get a firearm in this case.
No, sir.
All right, let's go through what you did. And you briefly mentioned this. Explain to the jury how cartridge cases, how they come to be in a particular scene, and then how they're different from projectiles.
So a cartridge case and a bullet are two parts of a cartridge. A cartridge is a single unit of ammunition. The cartridge case is the body of the cartridge. There's the projectile, which is propelled down and out the barrel of the firearm by the explosion caused by the firing pin hitting the primer, which is the third component, creating a spark to ignite the gunpowder, which is the fourth component in the cartridge. When a gun is fired, that cartridge case is typically in a semi-automatic firearm, automatically extracted and ejected out of the firearm. The bullet is propelled down the barrel and out the barrel of the firearm.
When a cartridge case is expelled from the firearm in a pattern that is similar.
Not typically, no.
So they go out of the firearm and they can kind of bounce around and go anywhere.
And depends on how you're holding the firearm and where you're shooting from, a lot of different variables, yes.
And I know the jury's probably seen this from movies and things, but when the cases get expelled from the firearms, are they going hundreds of yards on their own?
No,
So they're going to be in the general vicinity, but you just don't know exactly where.
correct.
So then once you can compare those cartridge cases to each other to see if they're fired from the same firearm, how about the projectiles? Can you compare those projectiles to the actual casings?
No, sir.
Explain why not.
So when the cartridge case expels the bullet from the firearm, any markings that would be left behind from the bullet being removed from the cartridge case are going to be overwritten by the markings that are left behind from the barrel. So there's nothing for me to compare it to.
Okay. So there's kind of two different components when you have a case where you have projectiles and casings. Is that
Yes.
fair?
They're basically a separate entity when I don't have a firearm to compare it to.
Okay. In this case, you did.
Correct.
So let's go first with the casings. Were you able to perform any analysis on the 4 10-millimeter casings that were provided to you?
Yes.
How do you know they're 10 millimeters?
They have 10 millimeter written right on the head stamp.
Is that a clue?
It's a very good.
But they didn't retrieve the gun, right? Have I missed the part where they retrieved the gun? Wasn't the gun reported stolen in a robbery or break-in or something like that? So what are they comparing it to? Hey, John Kumos, fat potato.
Clue.
Did you also notice other things that made it indicate it was a 10-millimeter shell casing?
The size, the diameter, and everything that goes along with the 10 millimeter cartridge case, yes.
Were you able to microscopically compare each one of those 4 casings to determine whether or not they were fired from the same firearm?
That's correct, yes.
And were they?
Yes.
They approached the witness.
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been entered into evidence is States Exhibit 88A, B, C, and D. And I just want you to look at those and make sure that those are, of course, I mixed it up. There's 88D, 88C, 88A, and 88B.
Okay.
Are those the 4 cartridge cases, 10-millimeter cartridge cases that you compared to each other?
Yes, sir.
And that they all matched?
Yes, sir.
And may I publish those in actual display form?
Yes.
So I think you can remain there, Mr. Hallstorf. But when we talk about the shell casings, we're talking about the pristine cylindrical cartridge cases.
Yes, the
I guess
4 on the left there.
I'm pointing to it here. We see other things that are more damaged. Is that going to be the projectiles?
In this case, yes.
Is it common to have your projectiles be somewhat damaged and
I don't
have
think
your
so.
cartridge cases be pristine?
Yes.
And I guess it's obvious. Why is that?
I don't know, Lefty.
Do you want to use that table over there?
No, I think the jury can see it from here, if that's okay. I'll move it before Mr. Dreiser gets up. They can all see it from there. If that's okay with Your Honor.
Yes.
We'll do these two. I forgot what my question was. Why? Why did they get damaged?
Typically on what they hit, obviously it's going to be something harder than what the projectile is. If it hits a person, car, wall, it's going to create damage to that projectile.
In identifying those 4 cartridge cases, were you also able to make an opinion as to the class characteristics of those cartridge cases?
Yes, they are typically fired in a Glock firearm based off the type of class characteristics that are left behind on that cartridge case.
So can you say 100% it's a Glock?
No, sir.
But it's just
Consistent with, yes,
So all four of those, they're all 10 millimeters, 100% though.
100% yes.
And it matches or is consistent with a Glock.
Yes, sir.
Now, did some of the projectiles that you were given, were they too damaged for any type of evaluation?
Yes, they were.
And describe, is that common?
It is common depending on the evidence that I receive. Sometimes there can be a fragment of the projectile that breaks off. It might not even be a part of the projectile that was even in contact with the barrel. It could be something inside the core of the bullet itself. It could be too damaged to have any of the markings from the firearm still be on that fragment or projectile. All of those things can inhibit my analysis to what I actually can see.
Okay, so I guess we'll start with the stuff that's inconclusive and then go to the conclusive things with regard to the projectiles.
Okay.
So I think there were three different things that were, I guess, either inconclusive or had no value for microscopic comparison. And the no value for microscopic comparison was items 7B and 8.
That's correct, yes.
And then the items that were inconclusive were items
It's just been mostly nothing.
5 and 7A.
That's correct.
Let's just have a look at those so the jury can see what you're doing. First of all, the ones that just had no value are going to be State's Exhibit 93A. Is that accurate?
As far as 7B on this one, yes, sir.
'93A. So it kind of just looks like a hunk of metal. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And then States 93B and 89A. Those the ones that were not, they were inconclusive.
Number 5 was inconclusive and number 8 was no value.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So you were able to take two projectiles and actually match them to each other.
Yes, sir.
And what were those two numbers?
Those were items 6 and 9.
And I'm showing you what's been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 89B, which corresponds to number 6, and State's 93C, which corresponds to 9. Am I accurate in that?
Yes, sir.
So let's show the jury in 93C. It actually looks a little beat up. Is that fair?
Depends on what you're talking about, but yes.
So, but microscopically, it had information.
Yes, sir.
So you were able to compare 93C and match it to 89B. Which is going to be at the bottom. And what determination were you able to make about those two projectiles?
That they were identified to each other, which means that they were fired in the same firearm.
Were you able to make any determination based on class characteristics and rifling characteristics about the type of firearm?
Yes, they are also consistent with a Glock type firearm.
Are you able to conclusively say that those projectiles are 10 millimeters?
No, sir.
Why not?
Based off of the weight and the characteristics, they're not indicative of a 10 millimeter because they're going to have the same base diameter. Or sorry, they're not going to be indicative of an exclusive 10 millimeter because the base diameter is the same as a 40 Smith & Wesson, and the weight wasn't high enough to eliminate from a 40 Smith & Wesson.
But they absolutely could be Glock 10 millimeters.
Yes, sir.
And you did not receive any Smith & Wesson 40 caliber shell casings in this case at all.
No, sir.
So if the projectiles are consistent with the 10 millimeter and all the casings are 10 millimeters, is it consistent that this was a Glock 10 millimeter firearm?
Based off the cartridge cases, yes, and the projectiles by themselves are 40/10 millimeter, but it does have a potential for having a Glock 10 millimeter firearm, yes.
Well, he doesn't know that. Anything else? That's all the question, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
Briefly.
You don't have to say it briefly, just ask
Good
your questions.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The report that was referenced from July 30th, 2026, did you author that report?
Yes, sir.
Who provides the information to you as far as case information, meaning what it's related to?
It's provided by the submitting agency.
And who is the submitting agency in this particular instance?
It was Jacksonville Beach Police Department.
And I see you referencing something. Are you referencing that report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you tell us, it says attention, who is that attention to?
Chris Johns?
Okay. And do you know who that individual is?
No, sir.
Your understanding is he may be affiliated with the Jacksonville Beach Police Department?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then under victims, can you read who's listed there?
It's Jared Bridegan.
And I'll represent to you that it's pronounced Bridegan.
Right. Okay. Yes, sir.
And then under subjects, can you read the names listed there?
Henry Arthur Tenon, Shannon Lee Gardner, Mario Enrique Fernandez Saldana, Jimmy Clay Jones.
And those are not names that you came up with, correct?
No, sir.
Those were names submitted to you by the Jacksonville Beach Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you didn't do any DNA testing or anything in this case, correct?
No, sir.
Just simply, you tested the projectiles and the casings that Mr. Mizrahi went over with you.
That's correct.
And if I understood your testimony, because of the absence of a firearm for you to evaluate, you can't make any solid determination of which model of Glock actually discharged those projectiles and ejected those casings.
That's correct. I cannot determine that. No.
But your closest determination based upon the characteristics from the projectiles and the fact that the casings are 10 millimeters, you would believe it's consistent with a Glock manufactured firearm.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And is it your understanding there are 3 different models of 10 millimeter Glocks?
Yes, there is.
Okay, there's a Glock 20, and I believe that's considered like the original flagship 10 millimeter.
That's their full size. Yes.
And that's been in production since 1991.
I'm not sure the exact year, but that sounds approximately right.
Okay. And then there's also a Glock 29.
Yes.
Okay. And I believe that's been in production since 1997. Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right. And that's the subcompact.
Okay. And then a firearm that has been referenced in this case is a Glock 40 Gen 4. Is that also a 10 millimeter you're familiar with?
Yes, it is.
And I believe that's been in production since 2015. Does that sound about right?
I'm not sure the exact year again, but it sounds about right.
And in 2022, or specifically February 16th of 2022, would you anticipate all 3 of those models were still in circulation?
Yes, that's correct.
And I understand that there are subsequent generations of firearms, like a Gen 5 or a Gen 6. But these 3 that I just recited to you, you would understand those would have been available February 16th of 2022.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I understand that from your testimony, you can make no opinion as to which model of those Glocks we just talked about would have discharged those particular projectiles.
That's correct. I cannot do that.
And you weren't asked to provide any type of determination of who would have discharged those projectiles.
No, sir.
And you certainly weren't asked to draw any conclusion of who would have been responsible for this particular offense.
No, sir.
This seems like a somewhat of a common sense question, but being that those 3 particular models of Glock have been in production, 2 of which in the 90s, 1 in the 2000s, would it be fair that Glock is one of the most popular gun manufacturers in the country?
It is one of the most popular. Yes, sir.
Utilized by many different law enforcement agencies?
Yes, sir.
Not necessarily the 10 millimeter, but that manufacturer is a
It's really hard to light.
That manufacturer is one of the most popular firearms. Yes.
something that you see a lot of.
Yes.
Fair to say that there are thousands, if not tens of thousands, of those particular models of firearm?
That's fair to say. Yes.
I have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any follow-up?
Yes, Your Honor. I know defense counsel was clear about the fact that Glock makes lots of other firearms in addition to a 10 millimeter.
That's correct.
What are their most popular calibers?
Most popular, in my opinion, would be 9mm Luger or 40 Smith & Wesson.
10 millimeter is less popular than that.
Correct.
I want to talk a little bit about the timing of everything, and we've kind of glossed over that. When you do your work, does it take time?
Yes, it does take time.
Do you have a lot of work to do?
Yes, sir.
When the jurors may be familiar with TV programs where you get ballistics reports in about 10 minutes during a commercial break. Is that real life?
It's not like real life, no, sir.
And in this particular case, you got the submission to you to analyze this in April of 2026?
I believe so. Let me double check.
Yeah, check that.
Yes, sir.
And your report's dated July 30th of 2026.
That's correct.
Is that kind of a typical turnaround, or is that a little quick?
That's about the same time. Depending if it's a rush case or not, we might prioritize the case sooner. In this case, it was given to me just before July, actually. I think right around about that time.
And so is that kind of time frame true throughout FDLE? In other words, it takes y'all time to do your work.
Yes, sir.
That's all the questions I have here.
All right,
Nothing further.
okay. May this witness be excused?
He is excused, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We're good for the 8:30.
Okay. Members
so-
of the jury, we're going to conclude the evidence for today. I want to, again, thank you for your time and your attention in this trial. This is our first kind of longer break since the evidence has been started in the case. And I feel that it's important that I remind you, I know that you've been very vigilant about following the rules. It's important that you follow the rules over the weekend's recess. We're going to return back again on Monday to keep taking evidence. So if you leave your notepads on your chair, we are going to get you out of here early so you don't get caught up in Jaguar traffic, hopefully. Thank you again for your time, and I'll see you on Monday.
Let's see if they're gonna. Anything?
Ponder.
All right. Please let the record reflect the jury has left the courtroom. Everyone may be seated. Officer Lim, juror number 4 has her pad turned up and with the notes open. Can you turn it over? Any others like that? Okay, thank you. All right. My understanding is that we were going to do a proffer. Is that correct? Do you need a second to get situated?
I'm ready. We're just waiting on the witness.
All right. So we'll just be in holding pattern.
I was supposed to let Woody know with enough time.
Okay.
I got busy doing a witness.
All right. No problem.
So we're gonna do a proffer on Friday at 4 o'clock.
Parties are just getting along.
Oh,
You're getting along.
Getting along soon.
hope it's not a long one. It's
I love
4
when y'all get
o'clock.
along.
Your hair is really wild today. That's a nice smile.
Witness.
Your Honor, state calls Javel Pond.
Wait. Let's come over here.
I get sworn in.
Right.
Javel Ponder, Your Honor.
Mr. Ponder, if you'll raise your right hand best you can and take the oath.
Sir, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the
Mr.
truth, so help
Snitch.
you God?
Prison snitch.
All right. Sir, come over here and make yourself comfortable, okay?
We have a prison snitch.
Can I see the lawyers at sidebar just momentarily before we start?
Prison snitch. What a gift on a Friday. We're going to end with a prison snitch. Those are the best kind of snitches. What is he going to tell? Did he admit it in person? That would be cool. Yeah, man. He asked me to off this person for 2.6 and a what's those Cocoa Puff, the pink Cocoa Puff thingies that they can buy in prison. Apparently, if you can off someone for 7,000, you could probably get it for 2 packs of ciggies and a Cocoa Puff. No, he's not looking at them. He's looking at the sidebar. The witness stand is to his right. He's absolutely not looking at him at all. That mask makes him practically invisible. His name was mentioned. I don't think it's a secret that he will be testifying. So we actually had a guy once who got really upset because they brought him into the court. He was doing time, and it was against a guy who was connected to some street gangs and stuff like that. And he was just, "You're gonna force me to this? You don't know what they do to snitches in prison." He didn't really want to testify.
May it please the court?
Yes.
Mr. Ponder, are you able to pull your mask down for us?
All the way down?
All the way down so we can hear you good. The jury's not here, so you can kind of be at ease, but I need to ask you a few questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
So obviously, I'm going to kind of lead you through some of the background stuff so we can get to the meat of it. You're in jail, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you are an 8-time convicted felon, and you have 2 crimes of making a false statement.
Yes, sir.
And you have pending a number of different charges, including trafficking in MDMA, aggravated fleeing, tampering, another fleeing, and 6 counts of child abuse.
Mr. Mizrahi, why is that important? And just get to it.
Holy
Smokes! Some of that on the record, so he didn't have to cross on those things.
Why would you for this one?
Those are the.
Can we please get to it?
That was the
6 counts of child abuse.
All right.
Oh, the jury's gonna love this guy.
I want to talk to you. Do you know who Mario Fernandez is?
Yes.
You see him here in court.
Yes.
Say where he is.
Yes.
Where?
Oh, over there.
On the record.
Voice up so I can hear you, please.
Put your voice up. Sit up straight. You can face up.
I was trying to put the thing closer to me. They said no.
Well, pull your body.
I can't. That's why I was trying to put it.
Officer Combs, help him, please.
Yeah, 2 crimes of making false statements and 6 counts of child abuse.
So I want to turn your attention to the summer of 2024. Were you in the Duval County Jail with Mario Fernandez?
Yes, sir.
Explain to the court how you went about meeting.
I came to jail. They put me in 4 East. Put me in the dorm with them. 4 East 4.
And were you in the same cell?
No.
Were you in the same dorm?
Yes.
How did you become to talk or know or converse with the defendant?
I think I brought common sense from my first week. That was my first few days though.
How can you describe for the court your position, for lack of a better word, in the jail? Are you a man of some consequence within the jail?
Yes.
Explain that.
The best.
You can explain it. There's no jury here. You can explain any way you want to explain it.
It's just zero tolerance. I don't see gang members, Christians, Muslims, anybody can.
Now, let me ask you something more direct. Do you know how to fight?
Yes, sir.
Are you considered relatively a tough guy in jail?
Yes, sir.
People listen to what you have to say.
Yes, sir.
Not your own opinion. Is that fair? Or do other people tell you that all the time?
Other people tell me that.
So describe for the court when the defendant first started talking about his own case.
Well, I can't remember the specific date. I'd be lying to say that. I could just say the first time, I guess something went in favor in court, and he said he had y'all beat.
I have a hard time hearing him.
I can't.
It's very hard to hear. Mr. Ponder, please. Okay. So we don't have to keep doing this. Like, yeah, I think you're okay. Like this.
At least hold it like this, right? Go straight. All right. So can you ask the question?
What's the first thing the defendant said about his case?
Oh, he had y'all beat.
Then what did he say?
Like right after that?
Just tell us everything you remember about what he said about the case.
Like, you know, we gotta be. People talk a lot, so we're talking about in general, or we're just talking about one time only, like everything throughout the whole entire time of me knowing Mr. Mario.
Everything that came out of his mouth that's relevant to this case into your ears.
Oh,
Not through hearsay, not through other people, from his mouth to your ears about
That's
his
relevant.
involvement in the murder of Jared Bridegan.
all right. So boom, one day we were all playing poker at the table. It's when the paper dope was kind of popular in the county jail. I don't know. I gotta explain what paper dope is. Okay, so boom, a spider was trying to get some coffee for him to make the smoking paper. They put the coffee in the brown napkin and they smoked. So they was all in the room talking. I come in the room. So just say from what I hear, and then from when they involved me.
His mouth to your ears about what the defendant said about his case.
See, that's what I'm trying to ask. Do I say what he told another individual while I was in the room?
If you heard it, yes.
That's what I'm asking. Okay, cool. Okay, so he was telling Spider about his case. The first thing he said was, wait. Oh, okay, if I wait. The first thing he said was Shannon wanted to put a rape case on the dad. I don't know the dad name.
Okay.
So, boom, he said that shit ain't gonna work. It's only gonna be temporarily. Blase squaze. Then I'm sitting down on the bed. He said,
Blase squaze? Did he just say blase squaze?
I wish I knew some niggas like him.
Whoopsie.
Me. So I said, what you mean by that? I said, what you mean by that? He said, nah, all I'm saying is, if I don't know you on the street, I know this shit would have got did the right way. So.
Did you take? So what else did he say?
So after that.
Did he say who he had hired to?
Oh yeah, I was finna get to it.
Okay, just go.
All right. You know, y'all be asking highly educated, simple questions.
This is on you, Mr. Padre. Keep going.
All right. So, boom, after that, he was saying he never wanted Mr. Heron to do it. He was too old. Mr. Heron supposed to have nephew. Oh, my bad. Y'all told him to go. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said Mr. Henry.
Please stop saying that word.
Keep going.
Okay.
He was saying he didn't want Mr. Heron to do it. Mr. Heron's nephew was supposed to do it. Mr. Heron was too old, but Mr. Heron played. His nephew never came through, so Mr. Heron ended up doing it and fucked it all up. That's how he in jail.
He said anything about that his wife did not want the kids caught in the crossfire?
Oh, yes, sir.
What did he say?
Oh, see, that's why we're trying to make sure. When he said that part, he was saying that she didn't have a problem with, I don't know his name.
Her ex.
Her ex getting killed. She just didn't want her kids caught in the middle.
And did Mr. Fernandez tell you why this was done?
Why it was done?
Why his wife wanted the victim killed?
See, he never told me why they wanted him killed. All I know is she didn't want the kids around him. She didn't want the kids with the dad.
Is that what the defendant told you?
Yes.
That Shannon, being his wife, didn't want the kids around their dad.
Yes.
Later, did you
Business
back
nips.
in 2024?
Yes, sir.
That's all the questions.
Okay.
What?
Could I clarify? It didn't come up on the transcript. To me, I think that might have been important. Did he say something about Shanna wanted to put a rape case?
Yes, repeat that again if we missed it.
Yes, she wanted to put a rape case against the dad.
Against the dad?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I missed.
That was her idea.
What did Mr. Fernandez say about his wife's idea to put a rape case on the dad?
He said that shit won't work. It would be only temporarily.
Oh, it's a hairy chest.
So whose idea was it to kill them?
Oh, Mario.
Okay. All right. Cross. No, so just the admissibility issue, his credibility, I don't weigh. As a judge, I don't weigh his credibility.
How is anything he said different than what Mr. Mizrahi proffered to you and you've already made a ruling. That's what Mr. Mizrahi told you in effect he would say. And you've already ruled on this issue.
So my understanding,
I don't disagree with that, but I couldn't, in theory, I would not be able to cross appeal based on my proffers to the court. This is the way you have to preserve an issue on appeal. Now, certainly the court.
okay, let me have him step. Are you crossing on? So what I left open was the time, date, manner in which the statements were made, the actual statements. I don't think I had any particular statements.
Correct. And
So that,
I'm sorry. I read the order for the open-endedness had to do more with AB, and whether or not there was a illegal.
let me pull up the order. Let me have him step in the back. I don't make credibility findings on witnesses.
I understand that, but you've already ruled that it's not, that this case was not about. I would really ask that the order be reviewed. I mean,
I'm doing that now, Mr. Dreiser.
I understand.
So this guy who has 8 felonies, multiple upcoming charges, two times he's been convicted of lying or perjuring himself. We're going to believe this guy heard that he said his wife was going to try to get a grape charge against. Why would she get a grape charge after 7 years? In what world does that make any sense? That this lady would, after 7 years, say, well, he raped me. What? I know some harebrained schemes out there, but after 7 years. What? Keep your legs still, lady. He would get destroyed on cross for lack of credibility. Yeah. I bet. 96 subscribers to ad revenue. Well, I'll go and unsub it right now. I am. I'm the best friend you have in the world. Stop trying to look at this rationally, because some bitches just be crazy. I know crazy. But I'm just trying to say under 100,000, not 1,000.
All right, so the order that was filed that was titled Order Granting Defendant's First Motion in Limine to Prevent the Introduction of Hearsay and Impermissible Testimony, docket line 622, references the statements made to Kim Jensen. And then I pulled up the other one, relates to AB. I don't think that I covered Ponder. And like what I was isolating was Jensen, which were statements that were communicated. And Ponder, I don't believe I covered, and I'm prepared to make a ruling if y'all want.
And I think we've gotten a wayward here.
You go and I'll go.
Mr. Ponder could be called if the state chose, and he could say what he just said. I agree with that. I'll say for the record that no human being on planet Earth would believe him, but he could come into this courtroom and say that if he wanted to. What Mr. Mizrahi is doing, and where we're circling back to the orders, is that he is trying to attempt to use what Mr. Ponder said in court today to get you to reverse your ruling about what Kim Jensen can say. That's the purpose of the proffer. that now all of a sudden they've broken the privilege between Mario and Shanna Gardner. That's the purpose. And I'm saying, I don't
Okay.
expect that your ruling is going to change. You made a very clear order that that privilege applies and that there is no abrogation of child abuse in this particular case under these particular circumstances with the abuse of their own, not their own children, the children of Shanna Gardner, meaning AB and LB. Does that make more sense?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It wasn't clear.
We're in agreement. I don't think Mr. Dresser needs to cross. I want to preserve for the record that we have evidence directly from this defendant that states that the purpose of the killing was to stop the victim's child custody over the children.
Okay.
Our theory goes to child abuse from Jensen.
Mr. Mizrahi, that could have been asked in like 3 questions instead of all that. Like, I thought you were asking
Well, in fairness,
about his entire statement.
in fairness, okay, I mean, my fault.
Okay. All right.
The-
My ruling stands.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like, the state is planning on calling Ms. Jensen tomorrow as well. I mean,
Monday for the
Next day of
proffer.
court.
For the proffer.
Yes, at 8:30. And I will not ask any preliminary questions. I'll go
Thank
right
you.
to it.
That's what a proffer is. Okay. Thank you. Court's adjourned.
So this guy was brought in so they could bring in another guy who was going to tell another story that they're going to claim something about child abuse. I didn't. Who's abusing what child? So they're going to bring in the prison states to claim something. So they can bring in another guy who's going to claim that they did it because of child abuse. What's going on? And you're going to make another witness credible by bringing this guy in with his 2 perjury charges or perjury convictions and his multiple outstanding charges, amongst which are 6 for child abuse. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works. The fact that the kids witnessed the red rum. The kids didn't witness the red rum. Only the 2-year-old daughter witnessed the red rum. He had dropped the twins off, drove away from there, and that's when he got pew-pewed. Only the 2-year-old was in the car. So, no, they're claiming that this had to do with some child abuse. I think they want to allege, not that she wanted the children because she wanted to move to Washington, but she was claiming he abused the children. Is this what I'm getting out of it? They want to claim the motive was that she believed he abused the children. That's kind of how I read the last part. What do I know? But this, the state, they started here and now they're here. It's the same. We just had a guy testify that all 4 bullet casings were from the same gun. Yeah, but what gun? A Glock. Okay. There's a million billion Glocks out there. They wanted to try and convince the judge to break spousal privilege. Maybe. And again, they're going to bring in the other guy Monday to try and do it again. But that's what she told her accomplice. That's what was happening. No, because it was a name, Jensen. I think it was a male name. So that's another name. Again, that's another man. So if he was saying that in prison, that they killed him because of child abuse. But why would they then claim it was a rape case? Well, we'll have to see Monday because I'm very confused right now. And I hope they're about to wrap it up from the state because next What day is it next week? Next Thursday is the day where, I believe next Thursday is the day where Lally is going to go back on the stand and be examined by Rosemary Scapiccio. And I think Procter and Goody is called for the same meeting as well. So that could be fire. We're covering that no matter if this case is still going on. We are covering Rosemary Scapiccio doing Lally. That's we need to do that. But I need to get to bed. It's 10:30 my time, and I have to be up again in five-ish hours, and be on FNL tonight. So I hope you will join us over there on FNL, the best show on any Friday, where we hang out and just have some banter instead of all the crappy BS that's going on the YouTubes right now. So please join us. It starts at on the Experts channel. He never starts on time anyway. And I'll show up like I normally do, I think, if I wake up. Other than that, thank you all so much for joining. And I don't know what, if any, I'm going to stream over the weekend. But let's see what happens. Keep following me on social media and you will get updated. And thank you all for the people over on Twitch who was looking with us for the second part of today. Love you all. See you all.